Steve here, yes. Right now
Okay.
we're stuck. So, hello viewers. Hello trusty viewers. This is what do you call it? Scott of Scott's Case Files. And actually the picture you're seeing is of Aaron.
Hello.
Hello. We're short a couple characters tonight. So first of all, my nephew Zachary was going to be participating in this campaign, and he had to bow out.
Womp
Uh, wow,
womp.
wow. He was going to be the dragon. Now there's no dragon, and there we are.
Does that mean I can be the dragon?
Yes, you can be the dragon.
Woo!
But no, you can't.
Oh,
Yes. So, our buddy Steve is going to be here shortly, and he's playing the vessel. And hopefully, we had some scheduling conflicts, and our buddy Mark is going to be here hopefully around in an hour into it, and we can kind of get him introduced and whatnot. So there'll be 3 players theoretically for this campaign, and me. So yeah, so here we are. Scheduling snafus and stuff happens all the time. It's the downside of having role playing friends who have jobs, lives, families, stuff like that. Yeah. I wish we could just put all that aside, but nope. Here we are.
why can't we still be 17?
Yeah, why can't we? Why did we have to grow up? What happened? That was so. I don't want to be 17. I want to be like 23 again.
There's really nothing wrong with my parents' basement.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
That would be just fine.
Oh shit. So why don't we talk about your character? Since we have you, just you here to focus on.
Eugene.
Yeah. So I was thinking, and I kind of brought this up in my my prep video that you stayed away from because you don't want any spoilers.
I didn't
Uh,
even know you were doing one until Dr. Oculari told me about it.
oh yeah, I do. I do like a Monday or Tuesdays rather, 8 to 9, just a game prep. To kind of go through the various games that we're doing. Going to get stuff taken care of and share it with the chat and that kind of stuff. But yeah, Doctor's like my number 1 fan, or at least he's he's the one that shows up for most of my shows. Love the guy. So anyway, one of the things that so basically you became a hunter. Eugene became a hunter, and just so you know, with Powered by the Apocalypse, they encourage you to just go by talk to the character, not the player. So when I'll be talking to Eugene from now on at this point.
Sure.
And we'll put that. We'll change up your label when we actually get there. But anyway,
I need to put my Eugene face on.
thank you. All right, so here we are. So Eugene. So he became a hunter when he was injured, theoretically killed, and brought back to life by this one secret sect of hunters, the Maktuyo, if I'm
Yes.
pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, Maktuyo.
Cool. Now, out of curiosity's sake, where does that come from, or is that just syllables you put together?
It was made up during our last online session while we were doing our thing. I was like, let's call it this.
Awesome. That's what I want to hear. That's awesome. All right, so the Maktuyo. So, one of the things I kind of wanted to bring in eventually, I want to see how we develop and see what your thoughts are. So, what I'd eventually like to do is kind of bring them into the game, not necessarily as like a threat, because they're on your side.
But they're part of the world.
They're part of the world. So like, okay, in another Powered by the Apocalypse game, Monster of the Week, there's a playbook where basically it's kind of what you described. This person is like he hunts bad things, and he belongs to a secret sect who work with him. So, that's totally different game, totally different playbook. However, it does have a move where like it's kind of like a beginning of the session move where you roll. And depending on your role, either they provide you with like something that you can use for your session, something useful for you, either information or a thing, perhaps. Maybe they send it to you. Otherwise, they can demand things of you,
Sure.
small things or big things. I want you to kill.
That?
We need to kill this vampire, like soon. So get on that type of thing. So as opposed, it might be eventually it might be something you don't want to do, and then the move itself is very custom and kind of explains how that happens. Like they won't be helping you until you make amends or do the thing or whatever, that kind of good stuff. So
Okay.
that's kind of want to bring that up because since that's a cool kind of part of your background, maybe it's a cool move to eventually bring into play once we establish your guy, once we establish
Okay.
Eugene. Just want to put it out
Sure.
there. I don't want the Maktuyo to be lost as just like a name. I'd like them to be a thing that influences the game and you and that kind
Me
of thing.
too.
Yeah, I think that'd be neat.
I'll take 20% of the merchandise too. So
Yes, you've
whatever
already.
gets.
I looked it up. You already trademarked it. I don't even. I didn't realize you were just that on the ball. So good job. Good job, Aaron. Good job. Cool.
I
All
learned
right.
from the best.
Yeah. Oh crap. All right. So yeah. So Hunter. So why don't you tell me what does he do for a living? What does Eugene do? Eugene?
Oh, you mean he doesn't get paid to hunt?
Does he? Well, tell me. Tell me if he does.
No, that's a good question. No, actually, being a stunt car driver has still got a lot of different functions for it. I mean, yes, he could be an Uber driver, but
Awesome Uber driver.
yeah, an awesome Uber, the ride of your life Uber driver.
I've
This,
never been on two wheels on a car before. 5 stars.
but no, that's definitely where the most money is to be made. But I think because he also gets called away at a moment's notice, it's hard for him to keep good contract work. So, that can pay really well, but the end result is he's got to spread that money thin. So like 1 or 2 jobs a year, and the rest of the time it's you know driving Uber or something. So yeah.
Gotcha. Or does he do like the Blade thing where like he robs his victims and shit like that?
Sure, yeah, I guess he could do that,
Yeah,
couldn't he?
that's cool.
I like that. Yeah. I definitely am a treasure hunter too. So,
Oh,
like, Eugene loves his antique shotgun or his,
nice.
that special. I forget what the um, the description is, but the is it an improvement? No, it's
Let's look it up. Let's see here. Antique silver,
yeah, antique.
high-powered shotgun.
Yeah,
So it's definitely antique. It's definitely worth a little more than a normal high-powered shotgun.
yes, yeah,
That type of thing. And it's a doozy.
yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. All right.
Yeah. He never can hold down a girlfriend or let alone a wife. Can't keep one. Um, Dates when he can, uh, and I don't know. He's basically uh, running paycheck to paycheck, monster to monster, uh, and trying to stay out of owing anybody else any other debts because the Maktuyo or that's enough. So
Gotcha. Oh, if he trying to signal us? See here. Oh, yes, I think he is. We're gonna add him to the call.
now adding.
Here we go.
Now adding. Here comes the vessel.
Hold on, let me figure out how to turn my camera on.
Camera.
Right direction.
How come my picture won't come back? Did you guys lose my picture? Are you seeing me?
You might be just. Ooh, you're very bright, Steve.
Yep. Hold on.
Oops. Oh, no. Oh, doggy.
Doggy got stepped on.
All right, that's better, Steve. Looks
That's
like
ambient lighting.
yeah, that's better lighting. Yeah, Aaron, your looks like Cam is still trying to come on
Oh,
desperately.
hold on. Let me turn it off and turn it back on.
That'll generally do the trick. There we go.
There.
There you are.
Hello.
Hello. Greetings. I'm gonna change your labels real quick, so hold tight. You're not Steve. You're Aaron. You're Steve. Excellent. That's better. Cool. Welcome, Steve.
We're now at 2 of 3.
2 of 3. Slow but sure. So, glad to have you. So, since we have you guys, I'm gonna have you kind of get down to business. Is there anything you want to kind of bring up with your vessel, anything like that?
I don't think I changed anything, so no.
Cool. So I figure we will get down to business. Just want to go back over your characters, or just give us the 25 words or less description of each of your characters. Start with Steve. No pressure.
25 words or less.
You
So I'm
got
playing
this.
a vessel. He is a golem created by a council of wizards. He doesn't like the term undead, but he is created of, flesh and bone. Been around in Midian for a few generations of Midians. And, one of the things he was sworn to protect was actually the city. So he keeps trying.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Eugene.
Yes.
Tell me about your character of Eugene in 25 words or less.
Eugene is a hunter from the clan of the Maktuyo. He's sworn to take out creatures of the night, such as vampires and the undead. He especially dislikes the sentient undead. And for previously a stunt car driver, he still tries to get work when he can, where he can, but it's few and far between. Is that 25 words? Probably.
Probably. Let's call it there. Good job.
Yeah. He's also the wielder of the infamous short sword Hole.
Because that's what it puts in people.
Yep.
Nice. Excellent. All right, so let's go right to debts, and with the debts here, I want you to keep Kyle, or we'll call it the Doc, Mark's character in mind as we're doing this. So let's see, like I figure we'll do round robin, one each, until we're happy with the debts that you guys have established, and go from there. So let's see here. I'm gonna bring up the move you guys over. I'm gonna bring up the character sheets, just so we can all follow along with the debts and stuff. Let's see. There we go. And playbooks. So let's see. With I think about 2 here. All right, can everybody see that? I brought up the vessel sheet. Can you guys see that on your Roll20?
Maybe.
Okay.
Vessels.
Yeah, it's like just a character sheet. Is that what do you see that, Steve? Or
You mean?
I've never been on the other end of this really, so I don't know. I brought the character sheet for the vessel up on my screen.
Oh, I see.
You guys see that or not?
I'm looking for, which one is it under?
No, it would be on your screen, like the whole screen. If you don't see it, then no, you don't see it. So you bring it up on your own screen then.
No, I just see basic moves right now.
Okay, yeah, then you don't see that. That's fine.
I mean, I can click on it from the thing.
Yeah, do that. I just want to establish that yes, I see things differently than you guys. So actually, on my screen, with the basic moves as a background, I brought up the vessel myself. So the viewers on the other side of the internet see what I'm seeing, and you guys see your own thing. So you guys will have to just kind of bring things up as we go. But let's start. So let's look at your debts for the vessel. So, first one, someone convinced you to come to the city to help them with an ongoing problem. They owe you 2 debts. Steve. Or Adrian, sorry. I gotta get in the mode. Who is that?
Do you want me to try and find one for Eugene Banks first, or do you want me to just go in order?
Yes, let's go in order. No, no big deal. No big.
Okay. Let me just look at Kyle's character a little bit. Or sorry, Kyle the Doc. Midian, R&D.
Yeah, his character is very much like the special forces medic type of guy who came back to New Midian, found his own wars, and ended up being more of a healer before he dropped out of the game. Now he's back.
So I'm going to go with, for Eugene Banks, someone convinced me to come to the city to help with an ongoing problem. They owe me 2 debts.
Cool. Eugene, does that sound like something that he'd do? Like get a little backup for when things got really bad to do some hunting?
Definitely.
So I'm definitely known as, a protector of Midian, so it was probably something that was a external threat or, an internal threat that was going to, ruin the city pretty bad. Any idea what that would have been?
Something that would ruin the city pretty bad. Well, new vampire nest, like getting a little bit out of control.
Vampires are always good.
Excellent, good job.
So I noticed on the character sheet that it has the words owes me number of debts. So where do we record debts that we owe others, or don't we do that?
You either don't necessarily or do it in notes is what I typically have done.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way you know who can cash in a debt on you at some point.
The important part is to know who you have debts on. So
okay.
And for purposes of you guys, that's on your character sheets. You should have like the bio and info section. That's a nice place to kind of just edit and put any of those notes down if you want to keep them like in game available.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Oh, I see.
But otherwise, I think on your actual character sheet, I just closed it. On your actual character sheet, I think there's actually a spot for it. Yeah, debts. So you can even put it in there.
Okay.
So and so owes me 1 debt for blank, and that's kind of a cool place to put it. If you look on the character sheet, that way you'll be reminded of what it's for, etc.
Okay.
Yeah. So the debts that other people owe you are the most important debts. Arguably the other way around, but the ones you want to keep track of because you're going to be the one cashing them in. So you want to know who owes me, that type of thing. Make sense?
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So note somewhere, Adrian, that Eugene owes you 2 debts for that help with that vampire nest. Excellent. So let's go to. Let's see here. I already got the vessel up. Let's go to the hunter. All right. So let's see, Eugene, your first debt. Someone has enlisted you to protect them from something very dangerous. They owe you 1 debt.
Somebody has enlisted me to protect them from something very dangerous. So if I put that on Kyle, do we have to talk about that later?
Yeah, that's fine if you do. I can't imagine I'm not taking it.
Are all of our debts going to be to each other, or
in the beginning? Yes, I'm going to have them. You technically can go NPCs, but I want you guys. This is more to develop the bond first. Let's develop the bond, and then eventually you're going to be because of various moves or things you do. You'll be exchanging debts all over the place. There's going to be a web of debts out there with your name on them.
Technically, we have potentially 3 starting debts.
Okay.
We could assign them 1 to each player character and then 1 to an NPC.
Gotcha. Yeah.
What do you think of that, Scott?
Sure. Yeah, if we want to bring an NPC into our way, I'm good with we can use one of the debts.
Unless you plan on adding another character, in which case we could, save something for them.
Oh, gotcha. Let's do this. Man, not sure how I want to do this. What works best? Let's do 2 debts per. So you basically you'll eventually share a debt with each other player, and we'll use we'll forget the last one for now. Okay. And we can always look at that as like for NPCs and stuff. So yeah, it's no big deal. Sorry. So all right, so we'll give that one to Kyle so Kyle owes you.
Yeah, I kind of feel that in that particular case, if I was calling in Adrian for backup on something, then he probably wouldn't necessarily be pulling me in for something deadly unless it had to do with fire.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I have this birthday party I need to attend. Yeah. No, that's cool. Okay, so he sounds like a good one. So write down they owe that the doc owes you a debt.
Okay.
All right. And all right, let's go back to our vessel.
Or
All right. So of the last two, Adrian, which one best fits to um
So
the best fits the doc?
sure. So I'm gonna go with the last one, which is someone has a tie to my creator or their lineage and possesses knowledge about my origin they refuse to share.
Oh, cool. And him being like a healer, medic in the science type field, plus in the supernatural dark here, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, plus working for a lot of, higher ups.
True, yeah. Higher ups
You
in
know,
power and elsewise. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's see. So yeah, write down that the doc owes you a debt,
mm-hmm.
and mark down. Let's see. I'm gonna look at his real quick when he gets here. Um, we'll let him do debts when he gets here, but you'll each get at least one, if not two, from the doc. That sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, cool. That works out well. All right, so let's do this. Let's go straight into the session intro mode.
Oh, we have
we
we
have,
have Eugene's other debt.
yeah.
Oh,
We
I'm
need
sorry.
to. So I'd like to do the. I'd like to say that I consider Adrian a friend, even though the friendship keeps bringing me trouble. And he owes me a debt.
Nice, nice. That actually works out perfectly. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Excellent. Sorry to rush you there. I didn't realize that we hadn't done that. Losing track. All right. But for now, we shall bring you
Oh,
to.
you can do negative debts. Interesting. That's another way to track it.
Interesting. Cool. All right. So, session intros. So, we only have the two guys here, so you'll each be spotlighting something for the other person to start with. Normally, again, hopefully we'll have the doc here next time to start with, and we can all three of you guys will be doing this. But so basically, what happens is you choose the character that you trust the least, and have them spotlight a faction for you. So this is a twofold thing. One, if this game is not crunchy, but it gives you the ability to kind of work with another character to get your faction checks done. So to advance your character, to get an advancement, you need a checkbox in each of the factions: mortality, power, wild, and knight. So once you get those, boom, you get to do an advance and erase those and start over. So the first thing you do is you designate who will be doing this for you. They're the character you trust least. That character will spotlight a faction, so it has to be one you don't already have. So very handy. So let's say you only have Wild to mark off. So that person by default has to say, "I spotlight Wild for you." So you mark that off, and then you, the one who has been spotlighted, basically come up with a conflict or a rumor or something that affects you and this. Basically, it's a link between you and this faction, as to something something going on, and you'll roll the dice and you'll see how mixed up in it you are, that kind of thing. But in addition to being able to mark a faction, what this does is this lets you kind of push the direction of the session or the campaign, because you get to come up with this out of nowhere. Like, oh, I was thinking, my character really wanted to go kill some demons, so I'm gonna say, well, oh yeah, so there was these demons messed with the a cafe owner that I really like that I get coffee at every day, and now they're closed because they have both legs broken and they're in the hospital. So it's time to do some demon hunting. So now you get to bring that in. We just created this story. We just created this other NPC that maybe you'll visit or have some other debt exchange with, and et cetera, et cetera. So you, in essence, you have created story and pushed the story in a direction so that we can explore it. So this is like, so again, if ever you're like, I really want my character to do this, just wait till that faction rolls around on a spotlight and boom, bring up a conflict or a rumor or something.
Can you describe what it means that you're saying wait until that faction rolls around on a spotlight? When does that happen?
Okay, so again, at part of this move, you're gonna because there's only the two of you at this very moment. You'll choose Steve. Steve, let's just do it. Steve, can you spotlight a faction for Eugene, please?
I'm gonna say Knight.
Okay. So
I'm supposed to check mark that?
Yep.
Or not?
On your character sheet, you check off Knight.
Okay.
Okay. So when I say rolls around, I mean like maybe the other person you're working with who's spotlighting you will not choose the faction you really want to tell a story about. So let's say you really, again, let's go with the demons. They're from the wild faction. So say you have your wild faction on check, but you also have Knight and Power. And the person who spotlights you said, "Hey, I'd really like to, I choose Knight because, maybe, either just because, or maybe there's a reason like, oh, I want you to get involved with my faction or something." So you have to kind of wait until someone spotlights that faction to bring up that conflict. So you can't like bring up the demons when you're marking Power.
So
what does it have to do with it?
Can I summarize it this way? I should really read the rule book, I guess. This would help a lot.
Just read every word on the basic moves sheets that are here, and you're almost set.
Okay. So let me just summarize it so that I think if I understand this. When the time rolls around, whenever that may be,
it's always the beginning of the session.
It's always what?
It's always the beginning of the session.
At the beginning of the session, and we're only doing one session in a night, right?
So a session is the meeting like this here.
Okay, so at the beginning of the session, we are going to spotlight each other for that, and when somebody spotlights one of the factions, I get to mark it, and then I also have to describe it as a conflict that has to do with the night. Some creatures of the night. If I was spotlighted for Night.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Yeah. If a conflict or a rumor or something that preferably that involves you, because we can work you into it. And then what happens if you look at the move, and again I'll kind of highlight it. You should see a little ping on your screen, kind of brings it up there.
I got so much stuff on here.
Yeah, it'll be right on your screen.
I got a ping on my screen.
I'll do one more time. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me.
So you'll at this point. So let's go ahead and roll some dice. So let's see. Let's look on your sheet.
Do I have? Now, should I be describing?
I would suggest, Scott, that you cover the topic and then roll the dice.
Oh, sure. That works.
Sort of like setting the stakes and then figuring out whether you make it or not.
That's fair. Well, that works. Cool. All right. So I'm just trying to figure out how we. Okay. So. Why don't you tell me about what faction do you have mark again?
Knight.
Okay. So Knight is like vampires, wolves, and wraiths.
Yes, I see them now. Okay.
So tell me, so again, this is about a lot of improvisation type stuff. So tell me about this conflict that probably you're involved in or can get involved in that involves one of those. Somebody in the Knight faction.
Sure.
Bring names in. Let's create some NPCs if you want.
Okay. Whew, the pressure's on now. All right. So the last time Eugene had to have his car touched up, he went to his favorite body shop and found one of the attendants of that body shop being attacked in the back by a wolf. And the wolf got away, and the attendant survived long enough to explain that the wolf is expecting some kind of money. Yeah, that's my little wolf. The wolf was expecting some kind of trade deal, but the attendant, let's call him Eric, Eric, the body shop guy. He doesn't want to talk about what it is that he owes. Let's see, we need a name for the wolf, so let's call him. Yeah, I can see where preparing your stories ahead of time would be really good.
Well, again, this is all going to be kind of off the cuff. You're never going to know what faction is going to be covered here.
Sure.
Keep that in mind. Again, it'll get easier as we go. I know it's a little different than you're used to, that kind of thing. So, don't sweat it. You got this.
So I don't know if this is a typical wolf name, but let's call him Lucius.
It's a very wolf name.
Yeah. So Eric, the body shop guy, owes Lucius something. Lucius came to collect his debt, whatever that was. Eric doesn't want to talk about it. Lucius tried to, take it out in blood, basically. I showed up and waved hole in front of his face, and he decided to take off. But now, I'm probably gonna. I'm expecting a visit back from Lucius at some point.
Gotcha. So a little payback.
Yeah, basically for interrupting his deal, interrupting what was going on.
Gotcha. Cool. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and now we'll roll the dice. Let me see if there's a button to do a session. There's actually a session intro button. How wonderful. So if you open your character sheet and you scroll down, below factions, where you've already marked night, good job. One of the buttons you're going to see is session intro.
Session intro.
Yep, go ahead and click it.
Session intro, click. Weep.
There you go.
What just happened?
Okay, so if you look at the the roll, so Eugene Banks rolls a session intro 1 die, or I'm sorry, session intro 1. 9 succeeds partially. Okay, so you rolled a 9. So if we look back at the session intro move, let's see here. 7 to 9 means you're neck deep in it. You owe someone in that faction a debt, and someone in that faction owes a debt to you.
Okay. So now I have to describe what that debt is that they owe me.
No, this is me. Let's see here.
Finally, you get to do some of the work here.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
All right. So let's say that you owe a debt to Lucius's pack leader, Julia, and she owes you one. So you guys are in a weird space where you're mutually in debt to each other. So that's again. And now, if you notice, so what I've done here is I've created yet another NPC who can be brought into this mix.
Okay.
So very, very important.
Can we call her Violet?
Sure. We can definitely call her Violet. Hold on. Let's see here. All right, Violet, the pack leader.
And Scott, will you be having picks for these or anything, or a web of interactions or some sort? I know there tends to be a point of NPCs where it becomes hard to follow. Who the person was.
We'll do it as best we can. I'm right now. I'm just making notes on the person's character sheet in the GM section, where it's where I can see it, that type of thing. And I may eventually just make a new background that'll show kind of a web like that, like who owes what, or at least names of people in factions, and then we can kind of go down. Faction Knight now has these 2 characters. In fact, that's a really good idea. I think I'm doing.
So the other way I've seen for other campaigns is sometimes a spreadsheet. Just a Google. I know it's impersonal, but like a Google sheet that just says, who the person is, what their role is, and any debts that they have.
Gotcha. I just like to get it up on the screen so you guys can see it too. So I'll figure that out. Also, hey, maybe lower your. I'm not sure if you want to lower your camera a little bit. I can see like here's what the bottom of your chin up. You're in disguise,
I'll just sit up.
or you're slouching. I see. Gotcha. I'm sorry. You don't have
habit.
to. You can slouch if you want. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
All right. So wow, we've done a session move. Now we're getting it. All right, now we're feeling it, boys. All right. So who of the people who are here, Steve, does Adrienne trust least?
Scott for certain, but I will go with Eugene.
Okay.
Sure.
Before we do that, do I need to put down what Violet owes me a debt for, or is it just she owes me a debt?
You can figure that out. We can do that on the spot, or just write down what you feel that it's for, that kind of thing.
I mean, you didn't kill the werewolf.
What's that?
You
Did I
didn't
kill
kill
the
her,
werewolf?
her pack
Oh,
mate.
you didn't kill her packmate. There you go.
I
Perfect.
didn't kill her back.
So you spared him.
For sparing Sir John.
All right. So, Steve, who of this group besides me does Adrienne trust
I will
least?
have to say Eugene, the hunter.
That
All
would be
right.
me.
Oh, wow, Eugene. So,
Yeah.
Eugene, you get to highlight a faction for Adrienne, the vessel.
All right. Let's spotlight. Let's spotlight power.
Nice. Good choice.
Thank you.
Okay, mark power on your sheet when you have a chance.
Yep. And I'm trying to think of something appropriate. Power would be the immortal, the wizards, and
your creator.
Well, yeah, wizards. Isn't there a third? Oracle?
Yeah, Oracle.
Yep. Hallowed, Oracle, Immortal, Wizard.
No pressure.
So let's go with the wizards, because why not?
Nice.
And let's say a conflict. They are currently going after the Fae. Specifically I don't know, what time of year is it?
You tell me. I don't care.
Let's see, where are we again? We are in
Halloween.
East Coast. Yeah, let's go for fall.
Cool.
So they're going for trying to prevent the seasonal rise of the winter Fae.
Okay, so messing with them, I see.
Because they think they're battling over piece of land that the Fae find holy, or sacred. And I will say it's an area. We don't have a map, so let's say it's an area.
Like a high-end strip club.
No, it's in the it's in the seedier section of the city. We'll just say it's known as we'll say it's called the Tenderloin District.
Sure.
Because every city has one.
Tenderloin District.
Cool.
And, I think there might be like a ley line or, nexus of some power there that probably actually belongs to the Fae, but the wizards want to lay claim to.
Okay.
The reason I'm sort of involved is one of the wizards, will say Julian, knows of my heritage and has started trying to find ways to order me around because he knows I should respond as I'm bound to.
Sounds good.
Tenderloin District.
All right.
And I will roll for that.
Please do. Ooh, another 7. All right.
Hold on a
Let's.
second. Let me see. How does that actually roll? So, sorry. That's actually a 11. I forgot to change the drop down to say power, which is +2, not -2. So if you roll
Gotcha.
over, the
No.
actual roll is a 9.
Gotcha. So I haven't had a really great chance to look
So
at the sheets.
there's the button, but there's also the roll and there's a drop down. And whenever you're rolling with the session intro, hit the streets, or put a face to a name or investigate a power,
Oh, you have to show who
you
you're
roll
rolling
with the faction.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, you see, Aaron, or Eugene, do you see the drop down that he's talking about?
So under factions, below the 4 factions.
Under factions, below the 4 on the sheet, or
on your character sheet.
Okay, hold on.
There's the word roll, and then there's a drop down with the 4 factions in it.
Oh, okay.
Right. So yeah. So just to keep that in mind when you roll, it's not a big deal. But
so I should have chosen knight when I rolled.
Right, but we're past that now. We'll move forward. But yeah, something to keep in mind. Looks like we're all getting used to these.
What does it do? Why is it there?
So you're rolling with the faction that you marked. So
that I get.
So you roll 2 dice. What's that?
Mechanically, what does the sheet do then? Because it's on knight instead of.
Oh, so it's rolling 2 6-sided dice and then adding the faction to it.
Oh, it's choosing the points to add to my roll.
Yes.
Got it.
So if you're like, yeah.
I know wizards better, so there's a better chance that if I'm trying to name a wizard or investigate a wizard's sanctum, that I'll have a better chance of rolling it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
So just a reminder when we are doing faction moves to do the drop down. So good job.
Roger that.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And also, also guys, you can I'm not sure if it's helpful to any of you guys, but you can pop out your character sheets from the page. If you have your character sheet open on the upper left next to your name, there's a little pop-out button.
Yeah.
And that makes it its own window. I'm not sure if that helps at all or makes it better, or so you don't have to keep.
Yeah, because then I can just go to the different tab. Yeah, that's totally awesome, actually.
Okay, yeah, that'll keep you from having to constantly go to your character sheet, clicking open and close and open and close, and etc. etc. I'm amazing sometimes.
In your own mind, yes.
In my own mind.
Sure.
Excellent. All right. So let's see, and you know what? We're probably gonna get Roland, and suddenly Mark will pop in. It's like, oh, you're breaking my roll.
Hello.
So at least on a 10+, I'm sort of prepared for it.
Excellent. So yeah, let's look at it. So we're prepared. So you actually did roll a 10+ on this one, yes?
Correct, 11.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. So let's see. 10+, you're prepared for the conflict you've laid out. You've got a debt on someone in that faction or useful piece of information or equipment. Let's say, for interest's sake, let's say you actually, as one of the items you may have taken from your sire, your creator, was a small, an amulet, kind of one of those things that people use to douse with, or that, and that it actually is sensitive to ley lines. So maybe he's not courting you for your help, but maybe he wants your item, Julian.
Interesting.
So you have something to barter with.
Interesting.
Cool. All right. So, given we have that, any questions anyone wants to go over? Any questions before we kind of get into the thick of things here?
No, I just need time to type.
Okay. Type away.
Otherwise, I will forget. This is the thing about being 50 is essentially you've got if you don't get it on paper.
That's what she said. What?
I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Oh. Alrighty. Okay. So, like I said, any other questions before we kind of get into things?
Nope, not by me.
Excellent. So, Adrian, what do you? I actually asked this of Eugene, but what does Adrian like do for like a living? How does he make like rent and stuff like that? You know, again, so we don't. I don't want this to be a real life simulator or where I'm going to send you to your job or anything. I just want to kind of get a feel of what you do with your time, that type of thing.
I think he does a lot of menial work. In his free time, he likes to repair things. Just really anything. Preferably, electronic or, mechanical. But for actually paying the rent on his crappy little apartment, he, you know, washes dishes, bar back, I think he has like a couple different jobs, at various, evening places around the city.
Excellent.
Probably like one day job, one evening job type thing.
Gotcha. Stuff to keep him busy. Stuff he can get away from if he needed to.
Yeah, and because he doesn't have what he considers a lot of career skills, and he doesn't like being, necessarily like ordered around and responsible for a lot of stuff either.
The irony, of course, yes. Cool. All right. So let's go with this. Aaron, how's your typing coming?
Good. I was listening, and so I wasn't typing. So anyway, let's just go on.
Let's see. I was going to see something. Hold on.
That's okay. Okay. All right. I'm done typing.
Excellent.
Full on available now.
All right. I'm just checking the cameras. OBS is like freezing or something. God damn it.
Just as a side note, as we're making these things up about our characters, and I don't know, I didn't really give you, Adrian, my background, right?
I popped in and I know I read, whatever you have on your sheet.
Okay. Or I mean the day-to-day, like how I make a living type of stuff, right?
I did. I started just about that point.
Oh, you did? Okay. So what I'm noticing about this is like when I was 12, 14, 16, like I was able to like assign my character like the most outlandish stuff. And now that I'm an adult, it's hard. It's hard to like say he's an awesome gambler and he lives off the money of, like it's hard to come up with that because it's I spend too much time in reality, I think now.
That's funny.
Hard to marry Sue your own character.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why mine is, a dishwasher, it's like, what more can you attain at that point?
Anything.
Totes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, let's do this. I was thinking I would bring you guys together right away. Adrian, I'm gonna when I have some time here, I'm gonna change your labels on the screen. But for now, I guess this. So Adrian is known for repairing things. The machines speak to him. Literally, they say. He hears their whisperings, their needs, their wants, their fears. Likely, Eugene has had. He in his hunting, it doesn't always go as planned. This last time he probably had to like literally plunge like a shotgun down the throat of some demon minion he was hunting before he pulled the trigger, which blew it up, but also damaged like the gun barrel a little. So if you want, we can start with like just a little session of you hanging out with at one of your places, Adrian repairing your thing.
All right.
I'm guessing, my place might actually be better, but you might not like it.
Is it?
Let's just say I'm less bothered by the things that skitter, through my apartment.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I might not like that.
So maybe
But,
I brought, a toolkit over to your place.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a pretty crappy apartment too. But yeah, it's
Rodent free.
It's rodent free. Yeah, I would say it's kept rather meticulous, and everything is well oriented. Like, putting the real feng shui into it. All my lines line up. Everything's got purpose. So it's simple, but like I buy all my stuff at Goodwill.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah,
I probably pick a lot of my stuff. So
what's that?
I probably pick a lot of my stuff.
Yeah, from
From
trash
or,
containers.
Oh yeah.
Stuff that's been thrown out that just needs, some love and care.
Yeah, gnomes. So yeah, why don't we set up? Throw a big heavy blanket over the dining table. So I like the narrator said, I had this gun, my favorite little shotgun, down the mouth of this demon. It was this six-eyed, green-skinned, gnarly-looking thing that had horns where there shouldn't be horns, and it was the only way to take it out, because everything else I was trying, it was so damn slippery. I couldn't really land a blow, so I finally got my shotgun in there and pulled the trigger, killed it. But of course, pulling it out as the creature was starting to dissolve, right? It kind of took the finish off part of my gun here, and it warped it. I think there was some heat to it or something. So not the barrel, but the trigger mechanism is just a little twisted or something now. So plus I suffered some burns from that. But so yeah, can you fix it? I mean,
So I take it and I look it over in the light, and I'm like, some of this just needs polishing from the acid or whatever the demon blood was. But this trigger, I'll have to heat it up and bend it back into shape. Shouldn't take too much time.
do you have the tools for it, or I could go talk to Eric?
Getting out a couple things, and he has, it looks like like a Bunsen burner, type flame, and he starts that up, after connecting it to some propane or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, while you do that, I'm gonna go check the window, because I ran into some other stuff that I'm just watching my back for. So I'm just gonna go check the street.
Well, that's perfect time for me to whisper some sweet nothings to this gun and see what it has to tell me.
All right, you want to trigger your machinist?
I totally do.
All right. So, all right. So, what does that look like when you commune with a gun? Is it like Corette? You wonderful machine. What does it look like?
It's obviously him, running his hands over it and getting a feel for it, a sense of it. But it's not like the gun starts turning around and saying hi or anything. It's not animating. I'm just talking to the spirit of the machine. The force that animates it, or the force that makes it go.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a roll. So that's roll with spirit. Roll plus spirit.
Yep. And I think I should just be able to roll on the move here. On a miss, the machine betrays me to my enemies.
Well, that's a very interesting way to start. I just want to make sure. So you can actually. Oh, that's right, because you have the stats selected within the move. You can actually just
Correct.
click the move. Oh, that's cool. I like these character sheets. Are awesome. In fact, I saw. I'll have to look up the other stream that did this, but the one guy said he was actually the one who put this together. So I'll have to send him a thank you. It's really well put together. Once you figure out how things are set up,
Yeah,
actually
nice.
gonna yeah bring it over to the sheet here so you viewers can see. Yeah, so like so we have machinist here. We have the move, the stat it works with, and then the description, and then you have this cool button right here. So very neat. Very cool. Excellent. All right, cool. So yeah, so it betrays you to our enemies. Um what is a good thing for this? I mean, we have no enemies right now. I'm gonna say it's kind of hold its what's the word I'm looking for? It's issue with you.
I mean, if there were wolves about, I'm sure if the gun went off, that would betray our presence.
Oh, that's funny. All right, yeah, let's we can do the gun. You're sitting there checking out the window, and all of a sudden, poosh, one of your rounds goes straight through your ceiling.
A quick whip around.
Yeah, you kind of see Adrienne kind of sitting over your gun, like.
I shrug. I'm like, I thought it was unloaded.
You Eugene, you
My
actually.
mistake.
Yeah, from like the window, you as you were turning away, you caught something just out of the corner of your eye. But for your hunter senses, that's just enough. You as you kind of see Eugene, you turn back, and there is a what do you call it? I want to get the right term for here. A specter that you know. She frequents your place here and there. She was actually a victim of one of your first kills back in New Midian. So you basically she was like the first person you failed to save back in the city. She's actually quite young, about 8 years old, a girl, you know, ponytail, dark hair. In her spectral form, she looks, a bit paler, a bit crinkled. The wounds of her death aren't viewable at the moment. Sometimes they are. Sometimes, like when she's like really upset or something, she'll like it gets close to you. You can kind of see where like her throat got mangled a bit by first vampire you killed back here. But yeah, she's just kind of concerned. She popped up, and when she saw you looking, it seems, and floats in your room
From the outside.
from the outside. And like, Eugene, what are you doing?
Samantha, what are you doing here?
I was bored. I heard things. I saw the strange man. Oop. And she points at Adrian as she clips off her sentence, the strange man. And I just wanted to see. I figured I'd let you see. And she kind of gestures to herself. She doesn't have to show herself to you. And in fact, you have that feeling every now and then where it's like, I'm being watched from the spectral plane. That kind of thing. But yeah, she's just kind of, so she takes a seat on the ground. She like looks up at the new hole in the ceiling. What kind of shot did you have in this bad boy?
Well, typically it's, and I don't know if it's silver shot or if it's just that the gun itself is silver, but
For the purpose of this, would be a silver shot.
yeah,
That's what I was
so
talking about.
there would be silver shot in the gun, and
It wouldn't be like a slug; it's actually shot. Everything.
yeah, that's a good point. It could be slug or shot, and it's not very effective to go through walls. I mean, obviously it'll do damage, but not as much as steel would.
Right, it probably actually compresses itself as it hits like a thick beam up top, actually. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So you probably
Not
didn't kill anybody upstairs. So good job.
hopefully not, but yeah, maybe you can just go take a quick look. Uh,
Oh, she like you see her perk up. She's like you every now and then you ask her to do something, and it's like this thrill because she truly is freaking bored, and she's forever 9 years old.
oh yeah, she's 9, so
Yeah, and she just wants to explore things, see things, do things. She
you
never
know
asks.
how I tell you to never go bother the neighbors upstairs? Well, now's your chance.
Oh, she is thrilled to death. You see her; she disappears. One thing about race, they have to manifest. They can do two of three things generally. They can either be seen, be heard, or interact. So for her, she basically is. She needs some time to not be seen, and
Got it.
she's gone for a second, and maybe the room gets a little less chilly as she passes, and she comes back down, and you actually see her kind of come down from the ceiling and go kind of like sit on your bed, not far away from where Adrienne is at, and she kind of just looked very happy. So, oh, no harm, no harm. Just you'll need to put something over that.
Yeah, I guess so.
And
Can we see up into their apartment, or
no,
is
this
it
is no. It's just a hole,
okay?
and
Well,
it didn't make it past your to, like a joist up there.
I don't fix holes, so that can be that'll have to be the apartment manager or something.
I gotta try to explain. And then the gun went off, and then now I have this hole. So you're gonna fix it or what?
No, somebody threw a frying pan. That's all it is.
A silver front.
A silver frying pan.
Yeah. So yeah, Samantha she takes a very big interest in Adrienne. She like you know she doesn't have her that whole adult thing you develop where like you understand a person's space, and
Oh, sure.
instead she's just kind of like totally up in his grill as it were, kind of looking around. You get the Adrienne, you can kind of get the feeling that she's seeing a little bit of the real you. What does that look like? Oop.
Sorry. Do I see her?
Yes, yeah. But at this point she's visible. She was kind of sitting on cross-legged on the bed, and now she's kind of getting up and looking you up and down all over from all angles.
And you wanted to say, that she saw like some of the real me.
Yeah, you get the sense that she sees some of the real Adrienne is past like this facade of
So
not a
she
monster.
definitely doesn't see his, well tanned, face and beard and whatnot. It's she's seeing he doesn't like the word, but undead, flesh and bone monster that he sort of is underneath all of that, with different patches of skin stitched together, and the sharp teeth, used for feasting on well mortal creatures,
Or the remains thereof, yes.
So she's seeing all that underneath his guise and his I don't know what it is, green eyes or blue eyes.
Mhm. Yeah, she doesn't see it all. She kind of is in that phase where she sees just a wisp of it here and there. Like this is a movie, you'd see like like the kind of like the light shine over the face as it kind of goes along, and you
Okay.
see like the real face as it goes along, and then disappear as the kind of spotlight passes it, that kind of thing. Eugene is largely isn't aware of this whole interaction, but
I'm probably now checking the hallway just to see if anybody else is like, "What the hell's going
what
on?"
the hell? Oh, that guy down in 4B again?
Yeah.
God damn!
Like, did anyone call the watch?
or does it? Is it like It's like yeah. Hey, at least he doesn't play his radio loud. Every now and then you have to endure like a shotgun blast. Whatever, that kind of thing. Yeah. So as kind of Samantha's looking things over, she turns back to you, Eugene, and she's like, "Hey, just so you know, that Lady Wolf was looking for you."
Violet.
Is that who she is? I can never
What does she
remember.
want?
Oh, she was snooping around here, sniffing at your door, so I surprised her, like you like me to.
She was here,
At your door a while ago, before you came
coming
home.
coming to the door or leaving my apartment.
No, coming to the door. She was outside. I stopped her. I surprised her.
And what did she say?
Well, first she said, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say the bad word, but that what the effing hell is a little girl guarding this door for? Yeah, yep, that's what she started with. And I said, I do what I want. What are you go make me do it? Go make me do something else.
Right on.
And she did. She didn't. So instead, she said I should pass you a message. Said, hey, where is that place? Um, oh, it's that one club that you go to.
Oh,
Where is that?
uh, yeah, the wrecking gear.
The Wrecking Gear. Yeah,
Yeah,
is it like a biker bar or something like that? What is it?
yeah. It's welcoming to all comers. So
Fair enough. Cool. He says, yeah.
ready, we can do that. That was my wife.
That's terrifying.
You're forever immortalized now on
Yes,
Twitch,
I have on YouTube
on
eventually.
YouTube.
So yes, she's like, yeah, she was talking about that she'd be at that club tonight, and that maybe you should go there. It'd be a good idea. But yes, good idea. Those are the words. And it just so happens that this is also let's call it in the Tenderloin district. Let's combine this all. Let's bring it all together.
Right. Uh, did you happen to see Lucius sniffing around anywhere?
Oh, that one, no, nobody like that.
Okay. I'm concerned. He's got kind of a mat on for me right now.
Samantha turns to Adrienne, and she's like, "Are you his friend? Am I going to see you around here more?"
Like, I think that's what you've called me, right?
Definitely. Adrian,
Yes,
you're
we're
definitely
friends.
my friend.
Will you be shooting guns here all the time too?
The
No.
gunshot itself.
She kind of gives you that look that kids. Oh yeah, uh huh. And she kind of turns away. I got stuff to do. I got things to find. I haven't found my jacks yet. I'll find my jacks. She's always talking about her jacks, little bouncy ball and jack set that she loved as a living girl, and they're just gone. But she's always looking for them. It seems to be one of the things that's keeping her around. Not the item itself, but the search for the item. Interestingly enough. So, curiosity's sake, how does Eugene feel about like the first one of the first like victim that he wasn't able to save in the city? How does he feel about this person constantly coming around?
Oh, you had to bring that up. Okay. Uh, yeah. Shame, man. There's a lot of shame there. Like, couldn't save her type of thing. Uh, Felt like I had my chance. Witnessed the actual death of this little girl. So it's forever going to be marked on me. Luckily, I don't know anything else about her. I don't know her parents or anything like that.
Right, and
But
she's probably never shared it or anything either. So
yeah, but and I didn't really know her in real life. But boy, do I know her now.
whether you liked her or not, you really
Whether I liked to or not.
yeah. Short of getting a mage to put up some kind of barrier, there's no way to kind of not let her do what she wants.
Okay, yeah.
So, Adriana, what are your thoughts on like ghosts? Have you encountered many specters in your time?
More than probably, for instance, Eugene has. part of, since he does occasionally need fuel, and that fuel is in the form of dead bodies, he does find himself, sometimes running across the former inhabitant of those bodies, who's not always happy with his endeavors.
Right.
Plus, I think, at one point, obviously the wizards, had a necromantic bent that created him. So likely, there were a few that, dabbled a lot with spirits as well as, demonic entities, but, spirits were probably much easier for them to manage.
Cool. That makes sense.
Do you have a certain flavor of creature that you prefer? And are they all humanoid, or like do they all have to be?
In terms of eating?
Yes.
It would be mortal. So,
Yeah.
human.
But I mean, it can't be like dog or cat. It needs to be.
No.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think according to the book, it could be. But because I was created from the bones and flesh of the dead, I
Sure.
just assumed that it was a human dead.
Yeah, probably
Sure.
human. Human is probably what he has to eat. Yes.
So I don't actually need to eat, regularly. It's really only when I'm trying to like heal myself or,
What happens if you
otherwise regenerate fast.
What happens if you try to eat somebody who's alive?
They die pretty quick.
Yep, what Scott said. I don't think I've ever tried that actually. I've never actually just started like gnawing on someone, who's alive until the point where they were dead and therefore I could eat them.
And just how interested are you in trying that versus not trying that?
He's not squeamish, so he doesn't mind like, I mean, he does chew on corpses. So, I mean, obviously there's, a certain grossness of that, of task. But he's not interested in like killing people to feast on them type thing.
Got it.
It's always been something that he's needed as like, he knows it will help him recover if, he gets seriously injured.
Right. So Adrian,
but he doesn't go out of his way to become seriously injured so that he can recover.
Right. Yes. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just so he actually has
being immortal myself,
right.
Immortal.
Yeah, that's a good concern.
I just needed to know where the line is right now.
I don't think you've seen him do it.
Okay. And I'd probably rather
you've
not.
Been around him long enough that, when he says, he needs to, go recover, and maybe, you followed him for a little bit and he disappeared into the cemetery somewhere and came back, looking fine. So you probably have an idea of something is up.
Gotcha. And because he only eats the dead, it probably keeps him off of Eugene's radar, since he's not actually actively trying to kill people to get that. He's really more of a cleanup team, if you will.
There could certainly be an instance where, someone from, Night says, well, someone's, eating all of my corpses, like that could be him,
Got it.
Gotcha. All right. So, let's see here. I definitely want to kind of do this getting to know you thing. We also want to do some action. So, Steve, I'm gonna have some better notes for next time, but kind of keep in mind of your instincts.
Yeah.
Because I don't have them like literally right in front of me at the moment. But keep that in mind as you're doing things. Just if we need to be doing some keep your cools to allow you to not follow through on one of your instincts, that kind of thing.
Yeah, luckily we'll see with the other characters if either of them end up being defiant too often or disloyal. Excellent. But I don't think at least both being mortal, because the veteran and then the hunter, I doubt I consider either of them powerful. in the common sense.
It's
I mean,
just they
sure,
don't
they can-
have power.
Sure, they
powers.
can do things, right? But they don't have power.
Right.
I was actually looking forward to that with the dragon, because I would be like just inclined to serve whatever the dragon wanted, because it's a
Oh,
dragon.
Damn
sure.
it, Zach, in your life. Killing me. Oh well.
Never too late, Zach. It's
Never too late.
never too late.
All right. All right. So let's see. I know that Eugene probably wants to go to the club. Is Adrian gonna
I'll
tag
go.
along?
Nothing. I don't think he sleeps. He doesn't like dream when he sleeps, so he doesn't. It's not something he just necessarily looks forward to. It's just sort of a recharge period.
Mhm.
So, any diversion is usually welcome.
Cool. And it turns out you guys are buddies. So Eugene, knowing that Adrian can kind of take like a shotgun blast to the chest and walk away from it, probably somebody who might want to have around for a meeting with a wolf.
Definitely.
Cool. All right, so let's skip ahead, cut to the walking into the club.
Question.
Yeah.
At this point, is my gun fixed?
We'll call it not fixed right now.
Damn it.
But the other stuff
All right.
is good to go.
All right.
Let's see what else. What else do you have in your bag of tricks?
Yeah, I have to check into my.
And don't you have like an arsenal?
Well, I do.
You have whole.
I have an arsenal, and it basically gave me some additional stuff on my existing weapons. But certainly I like to bring a hand grenade along if I can. So.
For kicks, we'll say you have a hand grenade. Just
Yay!
Because why not? Because why not? Technically,
Right.
you wouldn't have one, but let's go for it. Let's have some
Okay.
fun.
Thank you. So that is my only silvered weapon is my shotgun. So going to see the wolves, I'm going to have to make do. I'll have to, I don't know, take a piece of pipe and strap a shotgun shell to the inside of it and bring along a little hammer just in case. I can rig that real quick. But yeah, that otherwise I've always got whole, and
Gotcha.
the sniper, the rifle stays in the car. So
Gotcha. Well, let's say for the sake of framing things, I'll give you a hole and the one grenade.
Okay.
And we can look at it from there. But no, this is also a good time to bring in that we're creating the fiction. So the question is, do you need silver to kill a wolf?
Yeah.
All right. So like, is it just that's what kills them, or that's what keeps them from regenerating?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think the latter.
Just keeps them from regenerating.
Gotcha.
So if it's removed, they can come back.
Well, not if it's removed, but any other, I guess, pedestrian destruction, bullets or beating them with a hammer or whatever,
Yeah.
injures them, but it's something they can recover from.
Right.
But if it's silver and it's silver that kills them, then they're dead, and they can't regenerate from it. Let's go with that. Does that sound right?
Sounds good. Also, fire.
I would imagine the grenade would probably do enough too.
There is that.
It'd be hard to come back from that.
All right. So, jumping ahead, let's walk into the gear. What is it?
The wrecking gear.
Wrecking gear. Let's walk into the wrecking gear. What does it look like?
The wrecking gear is a former bank from the 1800s. It's been modified to have a number of small rooms people can hang out with and close the door, have private parties. The main stage is partly the whole back of the bar essentially is the lining inside of the vault.
Oh, cool.
The main vault door stays open, and the main floor area, which used to be really nice, like marble floors and gold and whatnot. It's over the last 200, 150 years. It's just been picked apart. So only the most rugged pieces of the bank still exist. The lighting, oddly enough, is really up to date because it is very clubby, and the sound system is supreme. But that's like where all the money has been spent, and it's hard to get good liquor there, but they have plenty of it.
Cool. So I'm imagining like one of the desks where like the people would have filled out their slips and stuff are still there. Maybe use as tables and stuff like that. Little four tops or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
definitely like standing areas for putting drinks on. It's not really a place to dance, but everybody just kind of sways to the beat.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you guys walk over. Guys walking in. You're stopped at the entrance by one of the kind of like generic bouncers. He kind of looks both of you up. He says, "Hey, Gene. Okay, you can go in. Who's your buddy?"
This is Adrian. He's a good guy.
All right. Well, it's on you if he does anything, but go on in.
He cleans up well.
He might just actually have to. Kind of ways you both in. There's not a big line. This is, it's like we'll call it like a Thursday night or something like that. So it's not like a club night, but they always seem to do business. It's a nice place to meet. It's like there's probably I'll say there's like cameras outside, that kind of thing. It's somewhere where you can kind of feel a little bit comfortable in the Tenderloin district. And what do you call it? It's just it's become known as a place to meet. Excellent. All right. So yeah, you guys pop in, and Adrian, you kind of notice the same things that Eugene was pointing out. There's a couple guys, just kind of milling around here and there with their drinks, going from table to table, saying hi to people. It's very social in here. Um, you guys are kind of probably gonna wander around. People recognize Eugene here and there. And eventually, you guys get to around the back where those little kind of like private rooms you were talking about, and you see Julia sitting on basically she's sitting with her back to the wall, facing outwards. Kind of one leg is on the chair, one leg is on the table, one leg is down, almost like if she wanted to, she could like push with both of them and suddenly leap, like do a huge ass Superman leap into the air if she really wanted.
Yeah, I see these back rooms as like they were pretty much constructed like a normal room, but just for kicks, the door to get into them, this being an old bank, they used like submarine doors or something. So for effect, basically, you can close it, latch it, it makes you feel super secure back there, but technically somebody could still probably bust through the wall if they had to. So
Cool. Let's see. So, just to roll some dice, I'm going to say that Adrian tripped the put a face to a name move. So roll. Why don't you roll with Knight and see what
For Julia?
For Julia, see if you have any relation.
Now,
to
was
her.
it Julia or Violet? Who's Violet?
Violet is the pack leader.
Oh, so it is Violet. I'm sorry. I'd originally entered Julia, and then she's Violet. So yes, Violet is in there. That's
I
and
mean, it
she
could be both.
Julia Violet. So she is Violet is a very very lean, very almost like you don't want to say stringy because she's muscular. You see the muscles. She has like tight limbs. She's a black woman, with like kind of her hair is pretty tightly cut. Um, it's like if you put your hand on it, it would be hard to kind of like get a grip, that type of thing. But long enough where she maybe feels stylish for her. Um, but her eyes are just very penetrating. She's looking at both of you. Boom, 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 boom. Drilling India.
I will put a face to a name with Knight.
Okay. And mark Knight.
And marking Knight.
Okay. So a 9. Let's see here. On a hit, you know their reputation. Jan will tell you what most people know about them. We don't do that on a 10 plus, so you're good there. So yeah, so you know Julia, and let's see, does she know you technically because of this? Let's see here.
I think we're switching your name to Julia from now on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep doing it. Sorry, Violet. Okay, so yeah, you know Violet as an individual who, she's a pack leader.
Big pack, small pack?
It's a small pack that wants to get bigger. It's one of those where she's thirsty for some territory, and it just so happens that some of her territory is overlapping very close to where Eugene lives. So things are getting a little close, and this is probably why their original interaction with him with the other guy
Lucius.
happened. Lucius, thank you. I did make a note of that. But yeah, you know her as kind of an up and comer. She's thirsty for some territory. Wolves are all about their territory. She's a pack leader, not because she's maybe the strongest, but she's the smartest. Where others have tried to steal the pack from her, she has been all about outthinking them. Playing chess with them, playing 3 steps ahead before they even know they're playing chess. So she at the moment she's like, her eyes say, "I'm looking at your freaking souls." Her body language is very much like she's in control here. I'm relaxed. I don't need to be tense, to be dominant here, that kind of thing. So it's almost like an insult to both of you. All right.
Well, I certainly could never keep up with her ability to plan ahead, but I still have good friends in big places. So.
Yes, you do. So she, as she sees you guys coming to view, she gestures you in, very, very lackadaisically, like, whatever. But
what are you drinking tonight, Violet?
She kind of picks up the glass, swirls it around to show you. Oh, just a little scotch. Got some for you. Didn't know you had a friend. I didn't bring friends.
Excellent. One more, Adrian?
Okay.
I'll signal the bartender. One more. This.
Yeah. So yeah, she kind of keeps the question out there, like, "Oh yeah, you brought a friend. I didn't bring any friends."
I'm gonna play into put my power move on her by kind of sitting down right next to her. Invade her personal space a little bit, like we're buddies, which we're not.
Yeah, exactly. Because she looks down. She half expects you to be getting a blade ready to put into her or something. You have a very good reputation as a hunter. So yeah, she's just like, you've done the perfect move in that you put her in the place where she knows you're a hunter, and yeah, you might just fucking kill her right now. That could very well happen. However, if she shows that she's afraid of that, then she starts, and to anybody around, she starts looking weak, which is bad for her, especially in her place as a pack leader. People challenge her semi-regularly within her pack. So she's always kind of fighting to keep it.
I would imagine with the wolf and maybe some of the other faction creatures that she can probably sense at least a little bit about me.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, this is one of the things I want to establish. So what do you think she sees, or how does she sense you? Did she smell the rotting flesh?
She smells death.
Mm-hmm.
The flesh isn't rotting. I mean, that the wizards are capable. Although who knows if there's any on my breath.
Good point.
But
good point.
She definitely smells not a warm-blooded person. Like there's nothing like vampires. Aren't going to see me as a heat source. Necessarily. They're going to see me, but they're not going to say, oh, this is the next meal.
Sure. In recent Gunsmoke,
What's that?
Recent Gunsmoke.
Maybe a little bit of Gunsmoke. Yep.
Nice.
But yeah, she would sense that I'm, not human, and definitely smell a bit of death.
Gotcha. So are you to like as you kind of get into that quasi mini meeting room? Do you like take a seat? You gonna stand up? What's your move as you kind
I
of
just
walk in
stand
there?
against the wall,
Okay.
lean against it.
Okay. Is your back like facing outwards then?
I mean, yes, I mean just to a wall, but
Don't worry. This isn't
um,
which hand do you touch
it
the
doesn't. It's
the
not. I'm not necessarily
doorknob
like
with?
cornered to the door or anything. It's just like whatever wall is convenient.
Gotcha. So
So
yeah,
I
she.
look. I probably look less like security than she would expect.
Yeah, yeah. You don't look like the guy that you'd bring along if you really need some muscle. All right, that's fair. Like, I suppose you're cute. You can stay. You got a name?
Adrian.
Adrian? Hmm.
Adrian.
Adrian. She kind of looks back. I suppose you can stay. You know how to keep your mouth shut, Adrian?
I shrug.
Yeah, that's all we can expect from anyone around here, isn't it? All right. She kind of brings up her scotch, and that's about the time that another two come, or another one comes. You already have yours sitting there, and she takes a nice big swig of it, puts down the glass. She says, "I suppose you want to get down to business. You always want to get down to business, Eugene."
Tell me what's up.
So, you got in a tussle with one of my boys, Lucius.
I would say more like Lucius was going to eat my favorite car mechanic, body shop guy. I didn't touch him at all.
Hmm. She's like, that's not the story he tells. He tells he had to do some quiet regeneration in the corner after he talked to you.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to tarnish his name.
Hmm. So, you know that monkey, that grease monkey's in my territory, right?
I guess so now. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure how you really mark your territory.
She she takes the double entendre and gives you the look down the look down the nose type of thing. And the irony is, yes, they probably actually do at some point mark it with urine because they can sense it, that kind of thing. Hey Steve, your camera keeps cutting out. Are you all right? Oop, and
Nope,
you're muted.
you're muted.
Sorry, I don't like eating or drinking on cam,
He's a
Oh,
specter.
so I just mute the video a little bit.
gotcha. All right. So yeah. So she gives you the look. She's like, well, now you know. So you put my guy out of commission for a night. You infringed on my territory. What are we going to do about this? How are we going to make this right? Your guy's in the hospital, I suppose, but that we actually used him to fix up some of our cars. He's our favorite mechanic too.
We could call it even, You still owe me one, too.
He's like, okay, that's interesting. So let's see. So while we're bringing up the reference to a debt, I'll just read the thing to you. If you go here, there we go. Cashing in a debt. So it's the difference between cashing in a debt with a PC and an NPC. For an NPC, when you cash in a debt, you can basically reference what the debt entailed. You bring it into conversation, and then you tell them what you're looking for. Now, it can be one of these things. You can make an NPC answer a question honestly about their faction, introduce you to a powerful member of their faction, give you a worthy and useful gift without cost, erase a debt they hold on someone, give you a debt they hold on someone else.
I already know.
Oh, cool. Oh, hey, doctor. How you doing? Fair enough. Dr. Ocularia has stepped in and is listening to us in the background, which is appreciated. Cool. So, are you actually calling in a debt for one of those things?
Absolutely.
Cool. What is it? Which thing are you looking for?
So, I hear you're holding on to something that isn't very fun for you to touch, but would be really handy for me. And it just so happens I'm down my favorite shotgun right now. I'd like to have that item.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're asking for a worthy and useful gift without cost.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So yeah, and kind of reference it, and also as part of this, remember to reference the debt. Why does she owe you this?
Why does she? Oh. In
Remember
reference.
remember that time I didn't
Yep.
kill your guy?
Right. Yeah. That was it too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hmm?
So let's not forget, I did let him go.
All right. So she's like, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I can give you what you want, but maybe see if your grease monkey can move his shop out of my district if he doesn't want to be our favorite too. What do you think?
Why? Because you're looking to open up your own body shop?
That's not important. But I'm just saying we can make this right. Your guy can heal in peace. We'll both come out on top, right?
All right.
Excellent. So Mark, have you already marked tonight?
Have I? Uh, I have.
Okay, so you can't mark it again for cashing in the debt, but that's fine. Let's see here. So she'll you don't you never actually seen this guy before, but she gestures, and one of the guys near the front, one of the guys you passed coming in, one of the by the bouncer stand, walks back, and you as a hunter definitely mark him now that you see him moving. He's a wolf. You can just see the way he kind of moves like like that the wolf would kind of looking around as he does so. The kind of each foot pad is placed very specifically, that kind of thing. And she goes, "Give it, give it. You didn't need it anyway." He kind of gives her this look. He's another kind of scrawny type of guy, but you know you can see he's younger. Also, he's probably the youngest member of the pack if you had to guess. But he's like, "Fine." And he kind of reaches behind him. He pulls out a case. It's a basically like it's a sheath. He puts it down, puts it on the table, and she slides it towards you. She goes, "There's your item, all nice and silver."
I can't believe you keep that here.
You never know when you're going to need to use it to put something in their place.
I guess so. I suppose it works just as well for you.
It sure does. So we come around this with an agreement. I give you the thing, and then in order to not cause any other trouble, we just kind of go our separate ways with this mechanic of yours. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna have to go talk to him, but yeah, he doesn't know this is coming.
Well, he's probably still in the hospital. Last I heard.
What? Not when I left him. What else did you do?
Oh, he's like, must have been a different guy.
I see.
And just you can tuck that in the back of your mind. Check with your guy. What do we give him a name already? I forget.
Eric?
Eric. Yes, thank you, Eric. Cool. All right. So yeah, she's happy. You're happy. She's like, let me know if you're having any problems with the neighboring Pack. I'd be interested to make some moves on them if you need. Call it a favor when you need it. What do you think? You don't have to do all the hunting. I can clear up problems before they even start.
That's okay. For now, let's just leave it like it is.
Oh, your loss. She kind of walks on by. She actually, as she stands and kind of leaves, she kind of runs a hand along Adrian's shoulder, chest and shoulder as she goes by, kind of feeling the merchandise. Maybe trying to get an idea of what you actually are, subtly. Before you know it, she's out of the bar. She leaves through the front, and you guys are left with some scotches.
Well, at least the scotch is watery.
Does Adrian drink? Adrian drink? Oop, you're muted, buddy.
Sorry, I'm missing my ever-present icon that I usually have with Skype. Yeah, he does drink. He just, I don't think he really gets drunk, but he usually doesn't imbibe much. It's more just, the flavor, just an interesting taste. But after she leaves, he turns to Eugene. He's like, I don't get it. What does she gain by him not being there?
I don't know.
Just a human.
It's a good tactical position. She likes the building. It's on top of something sacred. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get him to move, though, either.
I consider that for a second. I'm like, we could test the ladder.
If it's on top of something sacred.
I pull out this, amulet that I have. It's like, this is something my one master gave me that, well, something that he had that's used to detect power sources for wizards. I believe they call them ley lines.
Huh. Well, if it's true, it'll definitely give me leverage to get him out of there. I mean, I don't know that he knows what a ley line is, but he also doesn't really want to be staring down a pack of wolves either, so.
I would worry less about the wolves and more about the wizards.
Interesting.
Cool.
And for that matter, the Fae.
It seems like a bartering tool. Seems like if that's true, the most she would profit then is just being able to lay claim to it to trade it away.
Perhaps.
Let's go check it out. But also, I guess I gotta go see Eric now in the hospital. How are you with hospitals, by the way?
Like, I never spend much time in one.
I mean, you don't
I've been taken to one,
You don't set off corpse alarms or anything, do you?
He considers that for a second. I don't register on their machinery. Sometimes I tell their machinery to display stuff.
Nice. All right.
But usually they put me in a bag of some sort, and then and then a drawer, and then I leave.
It's a great way to sneak into a hospital if you have to.
Well, I got to know what condition he's in. I don't really know this guy. I just pay my bills with him. He does a great job with my car. That's kind of the extent of it. But I feel semi-obligated, so.
We should check out his place first.
The building? Okay.
So if you need to convince him you have the right ideas.
Oh, then we can do it all in one fell swoop. All right, that's a good idea.
Nice.
To the building.
To the building. Excellent. All right. So yeah, you arrive at the shop, Eric's shop. That's probably what it's named. Sadly, I doubt Eric has a huge, I don't know, like imagination to build from. Eric's shop.
Yeah.
And it's seems like just a run of the mill place. I'll let one of you guys investigate a place of power if you'd like.
It was formerly a cupcake store.
All right, who? Let's see. I suppose who's investigating really? Is it Adrian?
I think so.
Because you're trying to use your Lee line thing potentially, and
Right.
looking things
Yeah.
over.
Right, the
Yeah.
item.
I don't have any
This is-
access to this building or anything, so
Would this be a place of power? Would this be a power location?
I'm going to call this actually a
Or wild?
mortality.
Mortality? Okay. That's the one I'm least likely to be successful with, so let's do it. Investigate a place of power, which says roll with faction. On a hit, I see below the surface to the reality underneath. Interesting. Or on a miss.
Let's see.
Oh, that's just entirely up to you.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say, yeah. So you guys are kind of cruising around the building.
Sorry.
Oh, you guys are kind of looking around the building. Again, you technically don't have access to it. It's probably locked up. The actual, incident happened inside, and whatnot. But you guys are kind of looking around. Adrian. You're kind of waving your doohickey around. Kind of holding out in front of you, looking for as you kind of walk around the building. It's not a huge building. This is not a huge place. This is like, I don't know. It's enough to hold like 2 cars maybe, plus all the workbenches, plus like a small area to pay your bill and that kind of thing. But yeah, so as you guys are kind of walking around the building, you suddenly notice that there are actually a couple wolves, and they're like off. Like if this building is kind of like on its own, it's detached from the others around it. They're kind of like in the alleyway, sitting by one of the telephone poles out there, kind of watching over things. And as soon as you guys kind of waltz into view, suddenly they're very interested in why you're here, and especially and they of course they have no idea of Eugene's meeting with their alpha or anything. They're just concerned with their territory, which you're on, and they make no bones about approaching you guys. They probably don't know who you are. They probably would be a little more careful at this point. But yeah, they approach, and not in a nice way. They kind of look threatening. One of them actually does pull a knife.
pull my coat aside and show hole. Watch it. Just watch it.
Like the kid, it's kind of a teenager, 16, 17. Other guys is about the same. They're like, I thought Violet told you to stay away from here.
What did you call me?
Violet. He said he thought Violet told you. Thought Violet told you to stay away from here.
Oh.
And now they know you because of your weapon. That is kind of infamous. A lot of different creatures have died to hole, and
Right.
no few wolves also. The other guy kind of, with one guy kind of impressed by you, the other guy isn't, and is like kind of making his way towards Adrian in a threatening manner, kind of like that gonna get hurt.
Well, let's see. How about can I persuade him that can I use the persuasion skill basically and say that I'm here for, the last part of Violet's request, basically.
Interesting. Now, as a note, it's not a skill; it's a move, and it's
Oh,
different. It's different from move in that you'll trigger it. You'll basically you'll just play your character, and then I'll let
okay.
you know when you trigger it.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah.
all right.
So say have your conversation.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, and one of the parts of persuade to trigger it is you basically have to have like leverage on this person. So
Oh,
you can't threaten somebody if you're you know holding their hand and you don't have a weapon, or you're a little meek type person. It's that you can't threaten somebody like that and use this move and trigger it. You have to actually have the gun out, gun pointed at them, and now you can threaten them and make them do what you want to do. That kind of
oh,
thing. So just make sure you have leverage. Now, quite smartly, you started off with, oh, your alpha wouldn't like this, so say what you're going to say, and you may actually trigger this move right away.
sure, sure, sure.
And be sure to put what you want them to do. That's kind of part of it.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So maybe you're just a little bit late to the party or something, but we have things to retrieve from here before we can actually get this guy to move out of here. So step aside, or I'm going to make you step aside.
Oh damn! You actually put a hand on a hole. That's going to get old after all.
Yeah.
We can work with that.
Yeah, throw it, grab it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll say you trigger persuade. Go ahead and let's see here. Promises. Yeah. Roll with heart.
Roll with heart. Okay.
Yeah. So you should see a persuade thing right next to there.
I should see a persuade thing right next to what? Next to heart?
Next to
Oh,
heart.
yeah, yeah. Okay. And then it says advanced. No.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
That's something entirely different. Don't worry about that for now.
I've clicked it.
Cool. So okay. So yeah, immediately the guys are on you. They're like, yeah, Violet didn't tell us you need to come back to take care of that, so you're out of here. And they're actually going to try to hurt you.
All right.
You can. The one guy actually draws the knife out of his sheath. The other guy is looking at Adrian, and yeah. And one thing I do want to point out about wolves is the playbook is only part around like them being being able to shape change. In fact, normally they can only do it on the full moon. The most of it is about protecting that territory. It's all about the territory and the family, the pack, that kind of thing. That's what the playbook's built around. So for these guys, yeah, you're treading on the territory, and you didn't give them a good enough reason, and you've been told before. So yeah, so the one guy's approaching you, the other guy just kind of looks at Adrian, and apparently he doesn't think you're much because he's just coming at you with his fist. You can see him like he does the. They're both like kind of younger guys too, so I'll let you decide what you make of those. Oop, and you're muted.
Yep. I doubt I have my heavy weapon with me.
You probably don't.
But we are right next to a repair shop. I'm sure there's like iron bars and stuff,
Or at least you're in the alleyway. You can definitely get like a trash can lid
Or you could start by throwing them through the front window, and then you'd have access to all that stuff.
That's true. But I was just gonna pick up a weapon, and defend myself here first.
Oh yeah, all right.
Okay. I'll give you like a one harm weapon.
I think if anything, he's being fairly defiant, so I think I need to break him of that habit.
Right. Yeah, that's completely in line.
So really without thought, I just reach down and grab something and just head towards two of them.
Cool. Let's unleash.
Which is
you're gonna roll with blood. And again, it's right next to the thing, so.
Ooh, harsh mistress.
the rolls are not liking you today. So so Eugene, you see Adrian. He kind of like just kind of I don't want to say rush because I'm trying to picture this golem movement. It's more like a I can't be hurt. I'm coming at you, and you really can't stop me. So, it's kind of like more of a Jason walk. He's gonna walk out with defiance in him, basically.
Yeah, he doesn't do the running after people thing
Yeah,
because
because he doesn't
he
have
just
to.
won't tire.
Sure.
Because he doesn't get tired either. Yeah. So, but yeah, he just kind of walks out defiant right in front. He picked up like a broken like leaf spring type of thing, and he's basically trying to hit him with it. He takes a nice and big swing, and actually it just whiffs between the two. They're a little more speedy for being younger guys. I think one of your moves allows you to, when you go on not caring about yourself, don't you get armor or something like that?
Yep. So I have a move called Only Flesh. When I come directly at a target without concern for my own well-being, I get 1 armor.
And this
For
definitely
doing
triggers
so
it.
in the service of one of my instincts, I get 2 armor.
Oh, cool. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, you're basically going to be, as you do your swing, you're going to be stabbed, or at least that's what it appears to be. So Eugene, you kind of watching this from the back. So you basically see the guy with the knife coming, and he brings it out, and like the other guy, comes at him from the half side, if you will, and tries to bring an elbow to the side of his head, and you see it go kind of rock, and then come right back to the right, and there's no blood, there's no squeal of pain, there's no nothing, and the wolves are just immediately aware of that fact, and you can see them. They're showing more fear than they care to.
Their tails are down a little bit.
Well, they're definitely, kind of in that stance. It's more like, in an animal, it would be, one foot ready to fight, the other foot ready to flee, type of thing. That kind of look where it's like, it could go either way. Instinct be damned. So cool. What do you guys do?
The trained person do?
The what?
I was going to say, what does the trained person do?
What's the train?
So
Probably run.
yeah, I want to close the distance, but in a kind of like from the side, so that I line them up, so that they're only there's only one person that can get to me, basically,
Oh, I see.
out of the two of them. And hole is just a distraction, really. I mean, it's a great tool, and it shows can scare them. What I really want to do is get them with my newly acquired silver stiletto,
Oh, nice.
and give them a good old stab.
All right, go ahead and unleash.
All right.
Roll with blood.
Roll with blood to unleash. Oh, did I hit it twice?
Only one came up.
Okay.
All right,
I partially succeed.
Okay, so let's look at what that means. So on a hit, you inflict harm is established. So you're going to do, let's say, 2 harm.
I do two
plus 1 for the fact that it's silver.
Plus 1 because I'm also deadly.
Okay. Oh wow, so that's 4. So let's see here. On a hit, you inflict harm and choose 1. So you inflict terrible harm, so you can inflict yet 1 more, or let's see here. On a hit, you inflict harm and choose 1, or take something from them. So like, and that can be metaphorical. That can be an actual object. That can be like their confidence. Take away their their chutzpah. Make them afraid. That kind of thing. So this can be a physical, tangible, or a metaphorical takeaway. You get to choose one of those. What do you want to do?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely want to take away their confidence.
Okay.
In the fight.
Okay. So, perfect. All right,
yeah.
And on a 7 to 9, choose 1 from below as well. So they did inflict harm on you, or you find yourself in a bad spot.
I guess find myself in a bad spot because I got a buddy.
All right. So yeah, you stab this guy. Where do you stab him?
I like kidney or base of the spine.
Well, you're going for like very big damage. So you stab him. Basically you kind of wheel in. maybe lift him off the ground enough with the strike that came just so hard from the rear. Yeah, so the guy buckles over. He's on the ground.
I give him that. Well, when I hit him, I say, "Don't you know me, boy?"
Oh my god! So yeah, the other guy looks at Adrian, and he's like too close to Adrian, more closer than he wants to be. This is a guy that was just stabbed and smacked in the side of the head, and kind of didn't feel it. It was nothing. And then his buddy gets stabbed. So he's basically, one guy is basically terrified at this point. He grabs his buddy and he's basically trying to drag him away. He knows that, there's this weird wolf thing in his head going on. It's half like, oh my god, these guys are deadly. They could probably kill me. I got to get the hell out of here. And there's the other part that's like, oh my god, my packmate's in trouble. I need to help him. The only way to help him is to grab him and to try to get. So yeah, he's like, you can see him just this battle going on inside his brain. As he's kind of dragging his buddy away. And that's over your shoulder. You see Violet. And she's just, you can see, she looks at you and you can actually see her go, she looks back up at you. Says, "Didn't I leave you like 20 minutes ago? I expected you to come here, but gestures to like the blood that's on the ground being, now the blood trailed as one guy's dragging the other. And plus, again, this third part of his instinct is now, my alpha's watching. Oh my god, it's like, this is the worst possible situation ever. This is like a wolf's nightmare, quite literally.
How long do you need to be able to sense ley lines here?
I will. He basically didn't sense anything with that when he was doing it.
Yeah, I didn't find anything.
You didn't find anything. If there's anything there, you didn't find it.
We were just on our way to the hospital.
The hospital's that way.
Oh, well then let's go. See ya.
She kind of looks down, shakes her head. You can tell you've dealt with her before. She doesn't want beef with you. You're a better ally than an enemy to her, because you're good at killing things, and sometimes she needs things killed. So she kind of looks down, and you can see her in her mind. She's chalking this up to like, you helped cull a weakling out of the pack potentially, or because they're cowering before her. Now she has leverage on them to keep them in line. Oh, you want me to tell him about the time that the little man stuck you with the little knife, and you cried for mama? You want me to? Do we need to bring that up in front of everybody? So yeah, she at this point she's calling it even, as long as you get the fuck off her territory, and you really need to, or else it's going to go even worse.
Sure.
Because there's more. The pack is larger than this.
All right. So I turn around to go get back in the car, and without looking at her, just throw my hand up. Thanks, Violet.
She's going to be an uneasy neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. When you did that, I was just trying. I had that in my head. What's that line from Highlander? Bye bye. He's driving off in the car he just stole. Threw the guy out of. That kind of thing. All right. Hey, why don't we take a quick break?
Okay.
I'm parched. I need something to drink and to stretch my legs. So why don't we be back in? Are you guys good with 5?
5's good.
All right.
I currently have 9:04, so I'll see you at 9:09.
Excellent. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
How's the ferocious beast?
Ferocious beast as well. And we'll be back shortly. Always wants to crawl on me. This is Roxy. Say hi, Roxy. Say hello. Oh, hello. He's back.
Shall I assume the other person is not going to make it?
I think that Mark is not going to be here today. And we'll be back momentarily. It is 9:09. But yeah, about what you were talking about before with the NPCs, I think what I might do is my first thing is I think I'm going to try like a kind of like I have the basic moves on the screen on like as like a map. I'm gonna do one of those with like a you know column for each faction, have them there that we can when we are talking about them we can actually just pop over and see who's available, that kind of thing, as we're creating as we're doing like hit the streets and that kind of thing. It's easier just to pick a NPC from there.
Yeah, I don't know if you've used the, I don't know, the pages icon thing that's in the upper right to like create different boards.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, yeah. So this is one of them. So we have this. We have another. I'm using it for threats.
Okay.
now I have to decide if I'm going to keep the Ordo Draconis from my planning session. But really cool. I figured out how to do multi-sided tokens. So for the for this here, I can actually like advance it like so.
Nice.
We're back.
What's a multi-sided token?
So on Roll20, you have tokens. Like for example, this thing here. You do see the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a token, and I've created like versions of it that look different. So basically, I can choose sides. So like I choose another side. So I choose the first side on this, and it fills itself in. So this is a clock that kind of ticks down to something happening.
Wait, what? On this sheet?
On the sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like you filled in that quarter?
Yeah, I filled in that quarter. So that's like the first this is like a countdown clock. So let's say, for example, I may probably in my planning session, I'm probably going to make a countdown clock for something happening with Violet and her crew.
Got it.
And things you do can affect it or not affect it, and things kind of just happen. So this kind of helps reflect where we are. So I'm going to secretly I'll keep very few secrets from you, but generally the points on a countdown clock will be out of your view for the moment until they're revealed. But I'll basically put like, so let's say like, I don't know. So let's say that you killed both these dudes, and then so she's slowly plotting her revenge. So 3 o'clock is, you stay in the. She like starts probing out to sending people around to look at your place a little more. Then 6 o'clock, like let's say you do a miss on a roll that involves that faction or the area. I can advance the clock to 6 o'clock, where it's like, oh yeah, now she's actively trying to get dirt on you in your neighborhood, and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And all of a sudden, so basically, the clock is what happens if it's two things. It's one, it advances when the fiction calls for it, or when you get a miss on a roll, and it works to advance the clock. And it also it shows what will happen if the power that's trying to bring it about isn't resisted. So
Okay.
yeah, so basically you have a chance to stop what's happening on the clock, but if you don't, it
And
kind of
only hold it in place, or can
you
we
can
roll the
they
clock
can
back?
yeah, you can either roll it back, you can stop it, you can take it
Okay.
off the board completely, that kind of
All
thing.
right.
So yeah, this is kind of like a neat little thing that I was able to make setting the clock a lot easier and cooler.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and based on like the opening move, I imagine there would be a clock for, like the wizard fairy war, that's about
Exactly.
to, happen.
Exactly. So this is all stuff that it would be too time consuming to do right now, which is why I'm kind of
Sure.
using those prep sessions to do it. So yeah,
Gotcha.
you'll definitely see that kind of thing in there. So yeah, it's kind of what's showing Steve the other pages I was using. So yeah, so I basically have a page for each faction. This one is Mortality, Night Power Threat, Night Power Wild. Of course, I have this guy. This is kind of like the default. And then, of course, we're back to our basic moves, which is where we're going to spend most of our time just for easy reference. So, yeah. Alex said, and Aaron, definitely, definitely read this over when you have some time. Eventually, we're going to it's going to be so second nature what we're doing that you don't even really even need to look at this. But,
Sure.
for a while, it's going to be like, oh man, what do I roll to unleash? I can't remember, and so, oh, it's blood. And then suddenly it's going to be like, okay, yeah, so when I roll blood, I do this, and blah, blah, blah. So, but this will always be here as like a reference sheet.
Okay.
Quite handy. Cool. So, let's see. We left
We left Violet in the dust.
we left Violet in the dust to clean up her mess and put her people in their place. Very cool. All right, so are you guys headed to the hospital at this point? Or are we going to go somewhere else? Back to Eugene's place?
Well, I suppose there could be some cleanup to do, but otherwise, go to the hospital.
Adrian, are you down with that?
I'm down with that.
Cool. Excellent.
Like, you're gonna leave those weapons in the car, aren't you?
Well, I've got a trunk. Yeah.
So, quick question for you, Eugene, Eugene, for both of you actually. Can you just have you guys actually, or Eugene, have you seen Adrienne get stabbed like that before, or hurt like that, and not, and just shrug it off like it was absolutely literally nothing?
And
Have you
taken.
have you seen that before, or is this kind of new?
No, I think I've seen that before, which is why I've called him in. Why I owe him that. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not natural.
Yeah.
It's still shocking to me, being mortal and really having to control the fight, to see somebody just walk up like they're going to hang a painting on a wall.
Awesome.
That one blows me away a little bit.
Yeah, you're all thinking like Krav Maga moves and
Yeah.
where do I get? Okay, I'm gonna block this guy and la la.
You're like, well, I got this thing to do.
Let me think. No, I was just looking at intimacy moves.
Oh, yeah.
But this is really, I was just really looking at them to read them.
Gotcha.
Because I do have the question for you, on the drive over. More so that we just know in character. Why don't you hunt something like me?
Why don't I hunt something? Well,
Seen you go after the wolves and the vampires and the demons.
Good question.
Am I really that different?
I don't even really like to hunt wolves. For me, it's all about creatures that really suck the life out of things. Demons, vampires, sentient undead, things that they're truly not of this world at all, or they're just complete bloodsuckers. You know, I don't know. You just don't fit that bill. You're your own thing.
Cool. You want to say what this triggers an intimacy move? Do you guys feel like you've been emotionally intimate with each other?
I mean, I think Adrian was definitely looking to find out, some of that kind of detail from Eugene.
Okay.
'Cause he says he considers me a friend, but meanwhile he's killing things left and right that aren't too far removed from me when it comes down to it. So I think that's a vulnerability on my side, that I'm, broaching that, because he could just as easily say, well, until I'm done with you,
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Do you guys? I'll see if you guys do you agree that there has been a moment of intimacy here? Do we want to trigger that or no?
I think so.
You can say you can say no if you want. By the way.
I say let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean,
it's one of those things you got to do in your first session. You gotta try everything out.
Sure. All right. Who wants to go first?
I would say, you have nothing to worry about with me ever. So
That's cool. That definitely triggers it then. So let's see. How about Adrian or Eugene want to go first?
What do we do?
Yeah, let's take a look. Why don't we do? Let's do Adrian first. I'll have him kind of show you the ropes.
All right.
So Adrian, why don't you let's read off your move.
When I share a moment of intimacy, physical or emotional, with another person, ask them an invasive question about being human. If they answer the question honestly, mark redemption. If they deflect the inquiry or offer falsehoods, they must give you a debt. So I don't have a corruption track. I have a redemption track.
Right.
That pushes me towards becoming mortal, basically. Sort of the Pinocchio, type theme. So, I think this is relevant to Hunter, but also to being human. When you look back at the things you didn't kill, do you ever feel regret?
That's really deep for the first intimacy move, man.
No, it's a good question. I think so. I think I do, because I know that if it was a target to begin with, and I chose not to kill it, I'm starting with that assumption. I know that it's gonna do damage somewhere to somebody I love, or somebody that I care about, or something that I care about. So, yeah, I still have regrets for sure.
Cool. All right, so mark redemption, Adrian.
Totally will.
All right, and now we will look at Eugene. So Eugene, your corruption move your
My intimacy move.
Intimacy move. Yep.
When you share a moment of intimacy, physical or emotional, with another person, ask them a question. They must answer it honestly. They will ask you a question in return, answer it honestly, or mark corruption. So we're kind of doing that for each other, I guess.
Kind of.
Part of,
But you asked first.
Yep, US first.
yeah. Okay. With another person, ask them a question. They must answer it honestly.
So yeah, this is your move to get an honest answer out of Adrian.
Sure.
You must answer it honestly.
Do you know how many people you're made out of, at least initially?
You see him look down at the, and he rolls up his sleeves a little bit, and you see the tattoos, but you get a sense he's reading a deeper meaning in his markings or in something you can't see. And he thinks for a second. He's like 10. Like, and he'll expand a little bit. He's like, there were 10 of us created at first. From the
You guys are like a raid tribe?
From the remains of 10 great heroes equally shared.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
Cool.
That was a long time ago.
How long ago?
That's the only question you get. You only got the one.
Damn it.
Now you ask your question in return.
So we're talking about that. Regret. Like, do you ever wish you were still living your life before you became a hunter? A simpler life?
Okay. And you can answer this honestly or mark corruption.
Yeah. So, what comes out of the intimacy move if I mean, it... What am I trying to say here? Like, to advance my character, does anything happen honestly? Or is that's it?
It's just questions right now. There's no advancement or anything. The only thing that can happen is if you choose not to answer honestly, you can mark corruption.
Right.
Right. Like blow me off and do a tough guy routine or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, from playing the game, taking corruption is not a bad thing until you get a lot of it.
Right. I mean,
a corruption move or two is okay.
It's really hard.
I do want to start building it up a little bit. So,
so yeah, how do you answer?
Yeah, I forgot the question already.
So the question was, do you wish you would have lived the simple life before you became a hunter? Do you wish you would have continued that?
I live to kill, man.
Are you marking corruption? Is
that
not honest? All right,
I'm marking corruption.
All right, put a little tick in the first corruption box.
It's too painful to go there.
No, and that's part of it. That's the part of you not answering the question is not wanting to have that vulnerability.
Right.
Which takes you a little down that path. Very cool.
Right.
Good job. Yeah, the kind of the funny story is that Aaron is aware of is when I ran Urban Shadows at the con, I had one guy who was my Steve. He was the guy who had played all the games before, and he was the guy like, oh, so and you did this then. It was like he kind of took the cue and he's like, oh, I'll do the intimacy move here, and kind of showed kind of helped me show off the mechanics of the whole thing. So it's nice to game. Yeah, exactly. Everybody should have a Steve is basically what I'm saying. Everybody needs a Steve. I have a Steve.
Luckily, when I started playing this, I was playing with Andrew. So
the guy who made it.
Steve, it was the guy who wrote it.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And the first edition was a bit different than this, or the alpha, and the subsequent beta and everything. But there was a lot of the same mechanics.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty neat. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but Aaron wrote a role playing game back in the 90s.
We don't talk about it anymore, though.
Aaron is a writer.
As long as it doesn't start with Fatal, I'm okay.
No,
No, it
it
doesn't.
doesn't. Fatal? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, you guys share this in the way there. Again, I definitely see like almost a buddy cop feel to you guys. You know, it feels good right now. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
And now they go to the hospital to break someone's hopes and dreams.
Pretty much.
Guess what, Eric?
Well, actually, Eugene does, while I just, protect your back.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. So yeah, you guys get to the hospital. I'm assuming you leave your stuff in your awesome trunk, a la Supernatural.
Yeah.
All your weapons whole stays behind. And as a note,
Yeah.
I know that we've all played a lot of games where like, oh, do you leave your special weapon alone in the unprotected thing, and then you leave it behind, you go away for a while? Guess what? Well, it's gone when you get back. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not how this game is supposed to be run. These like you.
It would be a part of the story if that were to happen. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It would have
part of the story.
Yeah, it would have to be like a miss for suddenly Hole to go missing, and that's just like a miss on something that someone would have snagged that, and then that becomes part of the drama. You getting it back,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But
that would be a huge cliffhanger at some point.
Yeah, but generally speaking, unless I use a myth to make something like that happen, these are parts of your character. I don't want to take them away from you. That's not fun for anyone. I want to make this fun. Just put it out there. You're not going to like come. Oh, your car's up on blocks and all your shit's gone from your trunk, and yeah, all your stuff is gone. So now you're just a guy who hates monsters and not really on.
Hey, if you put that into your threats,
Threats.
But yeah, it's definitely something that can happen. But generally speaking, this is not the way we want to do it.
That makes sense.
So yeah, okay. So you guys pop into the hospital. It's easy enough to find Eric's room. You guys kind of get some looks. It's probably a little after visiting hours, but you guys look both like, I think. Who do you think looks more imposing between the two of you, Adrian or Eugene?
Ooh. I mean, no offense to well, I guess it's mostly to my character, but I'm the one who does look darker skinned and therefore, probably more threatening to the average security guard.
How tall are you, by the way?
I am about 6'2".
Okay.
And I think you're shorter.
Yeah.
And actually, at least apparently, a little bit slighter of build. So
yeah.
I probably look more threatening.
All right. So yeah, you guys look tough enough that like nobody's like, hey, it's after visiting hours, get out, kind of go. They're kind of like, okay, they look like they're actually, they're visiting someone. So yeah, you guys make it up to Eric's room. It's he's sharing a room with like an old guy who is just kind of like, he's definitely on his last legs, and he's like just staring at the TV. It's like if you didn't know better, you'd think he was just like a statue or something. He's just sitting there looking at that TV, watching his stories.
Wayne's World.
Yep, Wayne's World is on. Party time, excellent. And but yeah, so Eric, like, he sees you come in, Eugene. He's like, holy crap, I didn't think I'd be seeing you anytime soon.
Eric, I have bad news for you, man. Violet wants you out.
What?
She's marked her territory. She's marked your building for territory.
But I fixed her all her stuff. What did I do wrong?
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
I don't got like a family to feed, but I got 2 cats. They eat a lot. I gotta make a living, man.
If there's anything I can do to help, man, you're my guy. I owe you a lot.
Like, oh my god. You can see he's sitting in the bed and his one leg is still mending at this point from the altercation. Does it look
Like
like
it's broken.
yeah, like you had a leg literally broken. He's like, man, there's just not much I can do. I'm not facing her. I'm not facing her.
Yeah. Well, she's moving in fast. Maybe we can get two men in a truck and get this stuff out of there and go somewhere with it. I don't know. You've got a different space, temporarily put stuff, put it in storage, or do a 30-day lease somewhere. I have no idea.
Kind of like you can kind of see him just like looking down. He's like, you can see him like going over like a list of things, and but then he looks over. He's like, "Who the hell are you?" He's looking at Adrian.
This is my friend, Adrian.
And he's muted.
Yep, I'm just a friend of Eugene's.
You got to look at the big picture, right? It's opportunity. It's opportunity, Eric. Knocking at your door.
That was funny. So, let's see here. So, yeah, you're kind of talking to him. You can see he's like mulling over his options. He's like, bottom line is, I don't want to go up against her. She used to be protector and protected me. She kept things out of there. But then that Lucius guy came moving in, and she didn't do anything about it. And I'm not a fighter, man. I'm a lover. And then you go back to the conversation where he has only 2 cats.
Did you give him what he wants yet? Or is he still coming back for it?
He got what he wanted. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He's like, and so
you don't need to go there, man. That's okay.
He's like, yeah, I'll move. I'll make it right. I'll make it work. You think you could maybe smooth it out with my brother-in-law?
Maybe. He's not quite over how I left his sister, so.
Well, he's down on second. Just go in there and let him know that maybe I need to move in with him for a while.
All right.
And Eugene will know him. We'll give him a name. What's his name? The brother-in-law. He's like a fortune teller down on second, little psychic shop.
Dirk.
Nice. I like it. Cool. So yeah, so basically it's like, yeah, visit Dirk. Just tell him I'm going to be going. I'm going to need a place. I'll owe you. He's like, are you good with that? I'll cut my losses. I didn't like that place anyway. I can fix a car anywhere, and I can do it in the alleyway. Me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to him. You might like this guy, Adrian. One of the few guys that still does fortune telling with entrails.
Like, that seems primitive.
Oh, funny.
Scrying pools. There's plenty of other ways to tell someone's fortune.
I don't know.
Cool. So you kind of you're kind of like doing your thing. You're wrapping things up with Eric here, and Adrian. You're kind of not totally into this conversation. It's really you have no dog in this fight, so to speak. No pun intended. Wolves. Ooh, I got myself on that one.
Yeah, I'm probably in the hall.
Yeah, you kind of you did go in. You kind of saw things, and then suddenly you're standing next to the guy that was inside, that was watching TV. You stand next to you wearing his hospital gown. He's like, He just looks at you, and you can see that he's ectoplasm. You've seen ectoplasm, more times before. What's her face? Who I will look up and make a thing for later. Came into Samantha. Yes, you've seen her. More of these before, Samantha, as you were saying, like in your time with the wizards. He's like, who won on Jeopardy?
What?
He's like, who won on Jeopardy? I was just watching it. Now the TV's not here.
I look up. Is there no TV?
No, there is in the room where
Oh, okay.
perhaps he was watching it before he passed his mortal coil.
Like he just died?
He like fucking just died, yes.
I'm like,
you guys don't notice it inside. He's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, I sort of look back and probably see the body there. Like, you've died.
I suppose there's like nurses running in.
No, not even yet. No, he wasn't even really hooked up to anything. There's like there's like people going back and forth. They really don't even take any notice. Likely if you can see him, they can see him perhaps, but he's a fresh one.
Unless there's something for you here.
He's like, he looks at you and he gets closer, and he's like, "Who lost on Jeopardy?"
I don't know.
He's gonna start wandering away. He goes. You can hear him. He actually goes into the room next door, and you can actually hear, "Who lost on Jeopardy?" All he wants to know is who lost on the show that he was watching when he died. So that's the last you see or hear of him. And as you're in there, you guys don't even notice it. You're just kind of talking to each other, and the guy's kind of just frozen in place, watching his pictures, just like he was when you walked in. Yeah, well, Jeopardy is now over. Even you don't know who lost on Jeopardy or who won on Jeopardy. It's already passed. Will we ever? Will he ever? That's the question. Excellent. So yeah, you guys are done here. Is there anything you wanted parting words to Eric or anything, or?
No, but maybe we should make sure we have each other's number. So
yeah, that's a given. Don't in this game. Don't worry about that piddly stuff. We're gonna assume that yes, you exchange numbers. You probably had his number. Hey, I just you have literally a vampire in the grill of your car. Like, yeah, I'm gonna need you for some repairs as you're driving. Are you open? It's like 11. I know it's like 11 o'clock at night, but are you good? Can I pull it into the shop? Are you good? That kind of shit.
All right.
So yeah, you guys are good. All right, so you guys will step out of the hospital, and at this point, we have some time. I kind of want to go over some session end stuff and any questions you guys might have, on the rules and stuff. So, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
Okay, so for session end, let me ping you. See it pinged? Do you see it pinged?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So at the end of every session, which we've come to, if you learn something meaningful about a faction, increase your score with that faction by 1, and decrease your score in a different faction by 1. Tell them see how your relationships with those communities have changed, and all this is about it. It gives you this is your opportunity to kind of alter your scores, if you will, with the factions. Is one of the ways you can do it. And it's just kind of, it also reflects like when you kind of get closer to one, by definition, you get farther from another. That kind of thing. Let's see. So let's start with I'll start with Steve or Adriana.
I'm gonna say I've learned more about night, specifically with dealing with a lot of the werewolves this evening.
Sure.
And having not really done anything with wild, I think I've moved away from them even more. by learning about Knight.
Okay. Excellent. So right now, so what he's also done is on his character sheet under factions, he's added one to Knight and subtracted one from Wild. So you were at like a 0 with Knight?
I was.
I read a 0, okay.
And a 2 with Wild.
And 2 Wild. Okay, yeah. So he's adjusted that. Eugene, what about you? What faction have you grown closer to and farther from?
Well, I think I've learned a little bit more Wild in the sense of like some of the history of how Adrian was put together, like where he's from, right?
Very
or
cool.
who he's from.
All right.
And I don't know that we've been dealing with anything in the area of power, so probably moving away from that.
Okay, so go ahead and change it on your sheet. You'll be 0 with Wild and -1 with Power.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So there's that. I'm just checking over your sheet too. It looks like, all right, you marked Knight, which is what you had in the beginning. Eugene, I just want to make sure we didn't miss any marks because I don't think you did any faction moves. You did cash in a debt with Violet, so that counts as one. So you marked. Oh, and that's Knight though, so we've already marked it. I remember that I noted that. So that's all we've done at the moment. Yeah, okay, you're looking good. Now, do you, for example, now we also look over debts. Now, for example, so the other section is if someone did you a favor at a cost, tell it to the group, you owe them a debt. If you did someone a favor without redress, tell the group they owe you. So you're right now you just got a debt from Eric. He's asking you to do a moderate favor for him, which is somehow convince his brother-in-law to get him to move in. That kind of thing. So you can put him as indebted to you.
Okay.
And everything else is with like Violet and you. I think that was pretty much an exchange. You did something for her, she did something for you already, so you're good. You cashed in the debt with her and got that knife. But otherwise, you did both. In addition to that, you also kind of gave and took. So there's no debt really to be exchanged there. What do you call it? Adrian, are you owed any debt, or do you owe any debts tonight?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because you're kind of like along for the ride.
Eugene's problems.
Gotcha. But yeah, you suppose you really didn't do anything for him per se. You were just along for the ride and you did stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair. And I think you're gonna be close to an advancement.
How do you remove a debt?
Oh, like from the character sheet?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Oh, modify.
Modify. There you go. Cool.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So those are the two session end things. So one, decide what change your faction appropriately, and two, make sure we've accounted for all debts and whatnot, that kind of thing. And I know that we haven't done enough where you've kind of seen the true power of debts. And I'm not, but we will definitely get into that where you'll see why debts are pretty awesome and why you want them on people, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Let's see. So you guys have any questions right now? I made time for question and answer.
I don't know. I feel like I definitely need to read up just so I can be a little bit more efficient, and get a better flavor for where things tend to go with this game. So,
yeah, definitely read up the basic moves sheet. That whole sheet that's on on like our background.
yeah.
Definitely read up on that. Be familiar with your playbook, and then from there, just check out the book if you have time. But at a minimum, I would definitely say check out the basic moves sheets and your playbook.
I would review the book, review the advancement section as well.
Yeah.
Page 160-ish.
Just memorize that. It's really sad.
Well, I have it up because it talks about like all the things that you need to like all the possible ways to advance.
Yeah.
Faction, cashing in a debt. Intimacy move.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
actually, you did.
you actually get one with Wild.
Yeah.
Because you triggered an intimacy move with a
Yeah.
member of Wild.
Gotcha.
What happens?
You actually mark my faction because you triggered an intimacy move with my character.
Oh,
For our discussion.
Sweet.
So you can do that again with a debt too. So if you cash or honor a debt with me, you're triggering a Wild faction.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the idea to advance, you want to mark each faction once. So that and what that does is it kind of like let's say next session, like whoever marks a faction highlights a faction for you is going to mark mortality or power, and then let's say you mark mortality just for kicks. So again, there's not much crunch to this game, but it does. The whole game points you towards drama and making new story and making new interesting things. So what you'll likely do is if you want to work for that advance is do something with power. Like if you're gonna hit the streets looking for something, information or an item, you say, yeah, I got this friend, this wizard I go to when I'm looking for this kind of stuff, and you hit the streets for that, and boom, you mark power, and now you earned an advance.
Okay.
So kind of be cognizant of that is what Steve is saying.
Yeah, I mean there is some, I don't want to say gaming the system, but working the mechanics that are there, which is okay, you have to get all 4 factions touched. You have 2 factions and you have a problem with one of those 2. Well, rather than just dealing with those 2 factions or that one faction that you have a problem with, say Knight, you reach out to your buddy in Wizardland or Feyland, so that you can have the option to mark those factions. And it might not work. You might say, I'm going to go to my wizard for help, and the wizard's dealing with werewolves too, and now you're really stuck in. But again, it gives you that option.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just something to be cognizant of. And and when you again, it's not gaming the system because yes,
that's what the system's built for.
That's what the system's built for. It's like okay, all I need to advance is power. So I'm going to try for a power connection today, and that's cool because you're creating story as you're doing it, and that's awesome for everybody.
So is like Eric giving me or Eric owing me this debt? Is that a reason to mark mortality?
No.
Or,
so you when you cash in a debt, you mark the faction. When you honor a debt, you mark faction. Right. You haven't actually.
So next session, if you fulfill that debt, you honor that debt, and get that guy to get his brother-in-law or whatever to move in, then you've honored that faction. You've honored a debt with mortality.
Well, technically not, because no one's called in a debt with him. It's you get to honor the debt when someone calls in a debt and you say, yes, I'll do the thing you want. But he's basically going, Eric is going into debt in order to get you to do this.
Oh, okay.
He just gave, so he just gave Aaron a debt to do this thing. So whatever Aaron does, you won't be able to mark that for honoring a debt because he isn't honoring one. No one's calling one in on him. He's just taking a debt to do a job.
Okay. Yeah, I just misunderstood that.
Yeah. But you get what Steve's saying. So I'll coach you guys, for the first several sessions. Eventually, once you kind of read shit over, get comfortable with it, you'll be doing it on your own. But I'll definitely hey, looks like you only have to mark, power. So why don't you call on that, psychic that you're going to next session, and do some, you can, I'll have you maybe put it into a face or something like that. Do a faction move with him. So again, things to keep in mind. But yeah, definitely if you have some time, read the stuff, be familiar. And again, it's all going to start falling in place as we get the third character in, Mark's character, the Doc. And you guys have now a 3-way interaction where you all will be building between each other and, this web of NPCs and debts that kind of are going to bind you all together and get you all over the place. Nice. Sometimes when you least expect it. So
great.
Cool. All right, good session, guys. I'm glad. You guys were able to get here, and I hope you had some fun.
Definitely.
Cool. Like I said, and I apologize. I feel like I'm not getting my stride quite yet with this. I just kind of, I think once I get a feel for all your characters and whatnot, then I think I'll be doing better. But I think I was a little lacking this session, but I just got to get a stride. I think I'm getting there.
Yeah,
So,
I feel the same way for myself, but mainly just like not like I'm so used to being the GM or the game master or the DM, so playing a character like I not coming into this session really, especially given the way that we've set this up, like you've specifically asked us not to spend too much time and just kind of like learn it as we go, right?
mm.
And there's a piece of me that like wants to develop more for sure about the character now. So I feel a little bit more hooked.
I mean, one way to sort of cheat is just to have, like I've done this for one of my other games, not for Urban Shadows, but another one, just to have an idea of like, these are several NPCs I might want to interact with.
Yeah.
So just be able to have them sort of on the back burner of, okay, we're not thinking of a name. I have this guy, and that's more or less what I'm looking for, and I can use him.
Yeah. And in that way, I guess it does kind of feel like it's a collaboration of game masters to play this game. Basically, when you start setting up things like that for yourself, you're ready to pull that in. It's like you're setting up for the session. So, yeah.
Cool. I got a question from chat. What are the 3 character concepts? Sorry, I came in late. So I'm not sure what you overheard. I think you're talking. We were talking about the 3 different characters. So right now, not the character concepts so much as in the game. Oh, you're asking about the playbooks. So Steve, who I'm going to change that label on so you kind of get more established. Steve is a. Why don't you tell us what you are?
So I'm playing Adrian, who is a vessel, who is basically a golem or other creation, and has a lot of abilities revolving around not being flesh and blood, being able to take a lot of damage or do things beyond the normal human capability. But he's also subject to some drives or some instincts from his creator that he has to resist if he's not following them.
Cool. Yes, and thanks for the follow. Also, was Greg. Aaron, what's your character?
So my character is a hunter. He's tied deeply to the mortal world, meaning it's the primary driver for why he became a hunter. In this particular character, I focus on demons, sentient undead, and vampires. So Eugene has a real taste for getting rid of things that suck the power out of, the culture, the area, the people. Wants to get rid of that sort of thing. Because he's a hunter, he's got a lot of extra, weapons, and the weapons have a lot of interesting details. Some of them are famous, so it's easy to show my short sword, which is called Hole. People already know what that is, so don't have to fight if I don't want to, type of thing. But the whole point of Eugene at this point is protect the family, protect the area, take out as many demons as possible. So.
Yep. And then our third player is Mark, and he's going to be a veteran. Veteran. He's basically he was basically like the character was like a special forces medic at one point and got out of that game, found himself in New Midian, doing a lot of the same stuff, shooting and patching up, and then eventually he got out of the game, hence why he's now in veteran status, kind of coming back into it. He's like, the veterans are the has-been, what you were a badass way back when, but now you're just an old man. And so that's him kind of trying to make his way again, find out where he sits in the city with all these old relationships and whatnot. So he couldn't make it tonight, but next time hopefully we'll have him right away. And then we'll have 3 players, one MC. And again, thanks for the follow, Greg. I appreciate it. And hope you pop in next time. Otherwise, I think we're just about on schedule.
Okay.
Why don't you guys? Do you guys have any last moment anythings?
Nope.
All right. Say goodbye. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Aaron, for coming. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Greg, for viewing. We appreciate it. And I will see you all later. That will end the stream.
Have a good night.